action-packed.
Countrywide.
Sports for all.
Good afternoon, and rather a belated welcome to Cherrybrook on a lovely, lovely afternoon. We've got everything here, we've got a good crowd. The one thing we're a little bit short of is runners, because the ground, as you may be aware, is pretty fast. We've had a dry week. The forecasters were promising rain during the week, which never materialised at all. They watered here quite extensively yesterday, but it's fast ground, and you know, the welfare of horses is never one to be risked, really. So we got a walkover in the first race. We have got an actual race in the following two races, so we'll keep you informed with that. But welcome watching on pointingdc.co.uk. Sorry we can't bring you we can bring you the action-packed afternoon, and we've got everything you saw there in the opening titles. Good crowd, ice cream, a lot of food, trade stands, and I'm sure people will have a great afternoon, and we're looking forward to a good afternoon talking to a lot of people here. But we've got one runner, which is the walker you just saw behind me here, number 9 in the first race, Mad for Action, who's trained by owned and trained by Abigail Lewis, and ridden as well, so very much her day. And Mad for Action, who is entered for a race to run a little bit later on, actually, in race number 3. Haven't got the definite runners for that yet, but we will be seeing Mad for Action again. So we are Mad for Action, and good for Mad for Action, who'll be running. So far we've got in the third race Dan's Wee Man and Footloose, the 2 runners in that, so it's at least 3 runners in that race. But meanwhile, it looks like we're going to have a walkover, and for those of you watching who unaware what a walkover is, I'm sure you all know, but you never know. Always, you know, talk to the lowest common denominator sort of thing. It's when you've got no runners and they just go through the motions, really, and almost walk past the line to collect the prize, which will be good. If there's a Challenge Cup, which I can see on the table, a handsome Challenge Cup and a memento and £200. So it's a shame for the sponsors. And there you can see Mad for Action, who has had a couple of runs this current season, hasn't actually competed for a while. Finished second behind a horse called Benny's Miracle at Bratton Down back in June of last year, but ran unseated his rider in a race won by Grand Paradiso. Fly McIntyre was on board that one. That was the last time that Mad for Action ran. But good for Abigail Lewis turning up here. So welcome anyway to the action here at Cherrybrook, and we can just have a look at the declarations for what it's worth. We've got to go. We've got to do this properly, and we're going to be talking to a lot of people. Colin Tizard is here. There is a rather sad scene. Mad for Action, and Will Biddick's on board. I didn't know that. In my race card it had Abigail Lewis, but Will Biddick, who's on 31 winners for the season so far, so he'll move on to 32 when Mad for Action completes the walkover. So that's the news from here. Second race is the Exeter Racecourse Intermediate race, and we've got a couple of entries for that one so far, but I'm just waiting for the final declarations. I think it's probably just 2 Florrie Webb and 5 Marla Style, who's trained by Alan Walter, who might well be coming to talk to us a bit later on. It would be quite good to talk to anybody really. Aaron Butterfield, young up and coming rider, is going to have a word with us a little bit later on, and we will be talking to anyone who is willing to have a chat with us on pointingdc.co.uk. So I walked the course earlier actually. It's a lovely, I'd never been here before, looked forward to it for a long time, and everything is perfect really. The weather is absolutely perfect. There's actually warmth in the sun, which we haven't had. We've had that bitterly cold wind, but there was hardly any wind at all at the moment. It's a lovely perfect spring day. Unfortunately, it's been just remarkably dry really, and last week when it was windy and dry, it just dries out the ground straight away. So even if we'd been putting on loads of water from midweek, I think still we wouldn't get that many runners, because there's nothing like real proper rain to make it proper racing. Last time I was point-to-pointing was the other day at Great Trethew, and we had a few runners there, and Chipley Park a month or so ago. That was and that was reasonably dry. Usually that, I was always told, was run in a quagmire, and you'd never get your car out of the car park. But we had loads of runners on that occasion. But today, I'm afraid, it's a little bit quiet. I was usually at this point I say we can see the runners down at the start, but we can't really. I'm just hearing an announcement. The walkover has happened, and there is Mad for Action as won, trained by and owned by Abigail Lewis, and ridden by Will Biddick. So he has ridden now his 32nd winner of the campaign, and the owners will be presented with this, I think, very handsome trophy actually on the table to my left. So that'll be, and the horse away has been signalled as being given for the first race, and then we can start concentrating on our second race, which is due off at 2:05, about half an hour away. And goodness knows what we're going to be. We will be talking to all and sundry in between times. Declarations of closed in the third race. I'll bring you news of the runners as soon as we get that. But anyway, often we look at the replay, but I think watching a replay of a walkover would not really be that thrilling. But to those watching on the live stream today, apologies for the lack of action so far. And you can see your flailing presenter here trying to breathe a little life into proceedings, but it's a pleasant day to be breathing life. And Mad for Action keeps the race. Mad for Action has weighed in. Will Biddick has weighed in. That's news hot from a tent over there. So that race is done and dusted. It'll go down in the annals of point-to-point results. Mad for Action has a 1 next to his name, so well deserved. Just getting the runners for the second race coming now, the intermediate race, which is sponsored by Exeter Racecourse. 2 runners, 2 and 5 are the runners here. So we've got a match. Will Biddick will be riding Florrie Webb, and Gabby Ortwell will be riding Marla Style, who's trained by Alan Walter. So that's our second race. So we do have a race. We'll see the fences jumped, and walking round the course today, they're beautifully made fences actually. There's an open ditch just behind me actually in front of the crowd. It looks quite an awesome fence actually, but I had a delightful walk round the track a little bit earlier. Our betting guru Simon Knott will be, well, I hope he'll be with us before the next race, because he usually gives us news of the action in the ring, frantic action, money being bet left, right and centre. But today, just looking at the bookmakers, there are a few of them there, and there's a good crowd here really. There's everything. There are a lot of trade stalls. I was delighted to see a Mr. Whippy ice cream van here, which is very good. I bought a ticket for, I hope, a winning ticket for a bottle of something. Thatcher's cider. Is there a lot of Thatcher's cider? There is. apparently. Very, very popular here, and I'm sure on a warm day actually, because we've been absolutely brass monkeys in the last week or so. I'm sure a lot of Thatcher's cider will be consumed today. I feel rather envious really, but it's not good to be seen with a few pint jars just lying distraught on the ground. I got a bottle of water. Keep it simple. Keep the brain active. But I suppose it won't be that long before we see the two runners in the parade ring. Florrie Webb was once upon a time trained by Henry de Bromhead. It's always interesting to delve back into the history of the horse. He's only 8. It's a he, Florrie Webb. He's only 8 years old. He won his first point-to-point. He won first time out this last year. He hasn't been off since May last year. He won first time out last year though in April, and he pulled up after that on soft ground. So I take it that he likes it. I think there's basically good ground on the race cars. His act's on good to soft, but he was ridden when he won. He was a very easy winner. He was a 5-2 on favourite, and he was ridden by Conor Houlihan, one of the Houlihan boys who've been doing very well, the Houlihan brothers, and he was I think around about a 4-1 shot. And his sole rival today is Marla Style, who's a 10-year-old, and she has not run since June of last year when she was second in a ladies' open. She was beaten 5 lengths by Lucy Major, who was on a horse called Moscow Prices. I've done my homework. That's good to know really, but I would have thought that Florrie Webb would be a very strong, well, maybe not that strong favourite. You never know, with 2-runner races anything can happen, so we might have an absolute thriller. You don't need a big field to have an exciting finish, the old cliche goes. But anyway, this is the Exeter Racecourse intermediate race. There's a Challenge Cup and Memento, which would be, it's not the one I can see on the table there, because I think that's the one yet to be collected for the first race. So, what more can I tell you? The sun is shining. It's spring. It's my birthday actually today. It's quite a good way to spend it, isn't it? Just talking a load of good common sense to viewers on Pointing DC, so I'm pleased to be doing that. But honestly, I feel so sorry for the organisers of this Point-To-Point, and because it costs a lot of money to put a race meeting like this on, and the most disappointing thing is, you want runners, even the public wants runners. A lot of them have come for a day out, and it was a really good. There are loads of cars. They've been flowing in since I arrived here just after 11 o'clock. But it's disappointing. But there it is. We can do no more. That's the scene there. You can see the Union flag fluttering in a very light breeze actually. But coming up, I can mark your card. Who's coming up? Mark Trenier from the Fleet, on the Fleet course, which is coming up, isn't it? It's in quite soon, not next week, but I think probably there are a couple of meetings in May, aren't there, I think. And Gordon Edwards, who's got a new course at South Hill, not Southall, South Hill, which is down near Dulverton. So he's a good talker, Gordon Edwards. I think he gave McCoy his first winner, didn't he? I think all those years ago. And Chickley Park, no, not Chickley Park, Chickabiddy. Yeah, there's no horse called Chipley Park. But it's great Point-To-Point. You can see people bring their, well, they obviously bring their children. It's a family day out, but pets as well. You can see a few local, we can't really say hunts people. There's so much you've got to be careful what you say these days. Cricket, you can't say batsman anymore, you say batters, which reminds me of fish and chips, really. But more notes coming up. It's quite good to have coming up Mark Trenier, who's brought two horses here today. Whether they run or not, I don't know. And his son is riding. What's his son's first name, I wonder? We'll find it. But we'll find all that out. There's a car. That's a car arriving. One or two just swirling around. And as I say, they've been arriving throughout the day, and there's so much to do. I'm sure regular point-to-pointers will know that, who like going. It first gave me my interest in the sport really many years ago, going as a family on a weekend. I was back in East Anglia and waving. I was hoping someone was going to come across and talk to us. I tell you, Simon Knott is here. Maybe I can have a quick. Should we have a quick word with Simon? But he hasn't got much to. Your betting news. You're a little bit thin on the ground so far, isn't it, Simon?
There was 11 bookmakers. There's now 9. 2 of them have up stumps, but they're up there. They're betting this race. 2 runners. They're betting on the forecast. They're betting on the distance. Straight betting. So they're having a go. It's
a shame, isn't it? It's a shame, and I'm sure it does happen every now and again. And we get these. We can never predict the weather, can we?
No.
And it's not like at Exeter or Newton Abbot where you can just pour on thousands of gallons of water to make it raceable.
No.
It's on farmland. It's almost impossible.
Yeah, and there's still lots of people here. They're still going to have a great day. It's lovely weather. Bookmakers will take a few bets. It's one of those meetings where they'll just make the most of it.
You come overdressed. It's quite warm now, isn't it?
I was just thinking that I've got to get this clobber off in a minute.
Were you at Cheltenham on that wet Wednesday day?
I was there all week, but that wet Wednesday, everything was wet. Everything.
So were you sort of darting around the betting ring on what was
Yes, I was. I was reporting from the Star Sports pitch and just earwigging what was going on and reporting.
And the size of bets is absolutely eye-watering, isn't it?
Yeah, they took £150,000 bet Ergomain, which cost them £500,000.
Really? I wonder what the biggest bet on Shishkin was. Probably similar.
Very hard to lay Shishkin was on the pitch I was monitoring. They did lay a £3,000 each way, a 33-to-1 shot in the last race. £100,000 they'd have lost, plus the places. £125,000 had it won. It was a comedy of errors throughout the race, and it finished 5th. So it could have ended up with. They did $2 million anyway. But
it would be rather a sort of a novice-y question. But when you're playing with such an enormous amount of money at a big festival meeting, your actual float you start with must be pretty enormous, isn't it?
Yeah, but those size bets aren't cash.
They're not.
They're done with known clients that are just on the nod. So those bets. Still 20, 30,000.
But you'd have some big cash bets.
Yeah, the biggest cash bet on that for that firm was I think 10,000. But elsewhere there was £50,000 cash bets.
But if someone has 10,000 on a 14-to-1 winner, you've got a fair bit to pay out, haven't you?
Yeah,
would you have that money with you though?
I don't know, about 140,000, but they would have a fair float. But obviously they don't advertise that fact.
I suppose you've got to be pretty loopy to have that much money on a 14-to-1 shot, really.
Well, people do.
I know they do. The presentation has just taken place. Well, thank you very much. So you can give us all varieties of bets. We'll try and bring you the flavour of the day so far. But the next race is at 2:05. Not that long. Only 15 minutes, 17 minutes and 35 seconds away till the next race, and we can see one of the 2 runners in the parade ring. It's got cheek pieces on, and that's number 2, Florrie Webb. And we can now show you a graphic of the runners before your eyes. There we go. So number 2 is Florrie Webb, who's trained and ridden by Will Biddick, who's now on 32 winners for the season, having partnered the opening winner, as it were, in a walkover. And number 5 is Marla Style, who's ridden by Gabby Ortwell, owned by Alan Walter, trained by Alan Walter rather, and owned by the Ears and Mine Partnership, which is headed by Mrs. J. Walter. So there we are. We've got 2 runners, Florrie Webb conceding £7 to Marla Style, who is just coming past. So we can have a look at some of them. Let's have a look. The one we're looking at. Stay with the one in front of us now. And that is the one without the cheek piece. That's Marla Style. I've only got 2 to choose from, so I think I'm probably going to be right. I am. That's Marla Style, gleaming in this beautiful spring weather. A toddler nearly came up to our microphone, our interview position, which has been quite a good. He wasn't exactly a toddler at Chipley Park the other day. A very small child, aged about 2, I think, came along wearing a pair of shades and all kitted out, but he wasn't very communicative. But Marla Style was in great form, not last season, ran some good races last season, but ended the season before with a couple of victories. And she looks really well. And Gabby Ortwell, I don't know too much. I probably should know more about Gabby Ortwell, but I don't. But at least we're going to have a race here, so that'll be something for the crowd to cheer. And as Simon Knott was saying a bit earlier, they're betting on distances. It's forecast betting, where it's either one way or the other, or maybe some horse finishes alone. But let's hope they all get round. Let's have a look at the one. Let's stay with the one that's on the with the cheek pieces there. That's coming towards us. That's Florrie Webb, 8-year-old, and he started life with racing for Henry de Bromhead, the great Henry, and he won the first time out about this time last year, actually. Pulled up on, I think it was probably very soft ground in between 2 wins. He won first time out in April, and he was a 5-2 on shot. He won the Quantock members by 8 lengths, and the Bratton Down restricted race. Harry Rogers, representing Exeter Racecourse today, is presenting the prize. He's here. I saw someone wearing a very smart Jockey Club coat. If you stand in front of the microphone, Harry. So it's a beautiful day. It's just isn't it sad that we haven't got more runners? But it's sort of a fact of nature. Yeah. And I was saying, on courses like Exeter, you can put on tens of thousands of gallons and make sure the ground is absolutely fine. But it's with point-to-point courses on sort of farmland. It's so difficult, isn't it?
Yes, this is it. Yeah.
So tell us about your responsibilities here today.
So we're here to sort of represent the Jockey Club, and obviously the intermediate race, and sort of we hope to see some horses come up through the ranks,
So are you representing Exeter Racecourse today?
I am, yeah.
And I think it was a Hunter Chase this week, isn't there?
Yes, this Tuesday. Yeah. Yeah, Exeter. We're out watering the track now, so we're hoping to get the conditions just right.
Yeah, I mean it is an exact science, actually, isn't it? You've got to be the weather forecast of all the sort of technical information we have these days. Weather forecasting seems to be one of the most inaccurate, really.
This is it. I think the Met Office just sort of look out their window, and if it's raining, they'll update, and if it's sunny, they'll update it to sun.
Yeah, because sometimes you get, people give you a 30-day advance warning. They get it wrong next Wednesday. Because I mean, here, I think we were expecting rain here at Cherrybrook, quite a lot of rain during the week, and there was none at all.
No, that's it. No, I think we had a bit last night at Exeter, but not enough.
So do you work at Exeter?
I do, yeah. Yeah, I work at Exeter full time.
And what's your role there?
I'm a groundsman at Exeter.
Oh, so you know
I'm
all
in
about
charge
it.
of, yeah.
Well, you must know all the vagaries of the ground.
Yeah, so we've got lads at Exeter as we speak now, watering the track, getting it just right for Tuesday.
And it's, I mean, I've walked every race course I've worked at. I've always tried to walk, and that's one of the longest walks, because how far around would that be? A mile and a half?
It is. Well, yeah, just under 2 miles.
2 miles.
Yeah, 2 mile.
It's a fantastic. I mean, the Holden Gold Cup in the autumn is one of the highlights of the season. It's always very, very well.
It's well attended. Yeah,
attended,
it's a brilliant day out. Brilliant day out.
And as far as crowds been this year, they've been pretty healthy.
It's actually, since COVID, it's actually picked up brilliantly. You know, we've got a lot of families turning up now, and it's starting to pick up. It's looking good.
And it must have been a bit weird during the lockdown when, you know, there was no crowds, no one coming through the gate.
It's strange because obviously the crowd makes the atmosphere. You know, the roar of everyone screaming.
Yeah,
and shouting.
you had a little bit. I mean, there used to be, you know, obviously a lot of people involved with the horses were there. It wasn't completely deserted.
The stable lads and lasses had to make up for the crowd.
So, a horse, either of these two horses here, Florrie Webb or Marla Star, are they now qualified to run?
They would be qualified, yeah, Exeter, yeah.
That's great. That's very good indeed. And as far as and is this a sort of an initiative that has taken place for some time?
Yeah, so we've done a few now. Yeah, we've done, you know, Weybridge, we've done Buttersley. So yeah, we're just trying to get the name out and support, you know, the point-to-point industry.
And when does do you have I mean, you must have a sort of a period when obviously there's no racing at Exeter. That must be coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, so we've got 2 more, and then we're off season until September. So that's just sort of getting the track ready, repairing any fences.
So is there a lot to be done?
There is, yeah.
During the summer,
keeps us busy. Yeah,
I
watering and mowing and.
So would you carry on watering? I suppose you can't just leave it, can you?
No. So obviously we started watering today, so we'll carry on. We're going to put a bit on Monday, you know, and carry on through, and we'll see what it's like. Obviously Tuesday. You know, if we need to put some on Tuesday morning, we will.
I suppose one of the problems you have during the winter is it's not warm enough for the grass to grow.
No, well, this is it. Yeah, and obviously we're sort of level with Dartmoor, so the weather that comes off Dartmoor we tend to get. So, you know, if you can look across, you know, if they've got rain,
I've been there when you think the hand of the Baskervilles is about to appear. When you get that sort of swirling,
fog rolls in.
The fog rolls in.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah.
And at some height, you probably get a bit more rain than. I mean, the rainfall there must be above average.
Yes, yeah. So we've done quite well for rain this year. We haven't had to water yet. It just is what it is now. We have to water. Obviously, looking at the weather, we haven't had any yet. So
and do you get around to quite a few point-to-points?
I try to, yeah. Try to get out, yeah. I do enjoy it. I enjoy it.
It's fun. I think it is. I think it's a very good. For sort of youngsters coming, like children coming, I think it's a really good introduction to racing. Actually, it's how I became keen. You go as a family, you go meet your friends here.
Yeah, and I've come from an agricultural background, so obviously for the older generation, it's their way of meeting. It's their social. You know, they're not on Facebook or, you know, any modern apps. So
well, if you see the amount of cars here today is
brilliant turnout.
It's great.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, they're going to see a little bit of racing anyway.
Yeah.
Very nice to talk to you.
Yes, and you. Yeah.
And I hope everything goes well at Exeter.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, it's nice to get a bit of insight into what happens at the racecourse during the sort of close season. Just 2 more meetings at Exeter, and then they have time until September or so to catch up and make everything shipshape for the next season. Well, it shouldn't be that long before we're just coming up to 2 o'clock. I can see Will Biddick, who will be on board Florrie Webb. About to go down to the start. We'll get a betting summary quite soon, I hope. But that's a different colour than in my race card. It had red, black spots on the sleeves and black cap, but no way is there any red there, and there aren't any black spots either. So purple colours, but it shouldn't be. I don't think colours are going to be a problem, and even if they were a problem, we've got enormous great cheek pieces, and the colours for Marla Style, yeah, those are correct on the card. Yellow with a brown hoop, and the sleeves reversed. brown sleeves with a yellow armlet. So there we go. Oh, Simon's here again. I'm looking forward to hearing this betting bulletin.
Well, they are betting on it, Bob. They bet Bottle On, which is 2-1 on Florrie Webb.
Oh, it's backable, isn't it?
And they bet Wrist Against 5-4 Jeremy Central. But most of them are betting Forecast,
Marla
Distance.
Style.
Yes, Marla Style.
Not
Sorry,
Jeremy's.
Marla Style. Looking at the wrong horse there. Made a mistake. There's only two runners.
It made my heart stop then. Jeremy Central.
Marla Style. Jeremy Central's the one above it. I spotted
Marla Style is
Tiverton.
what, 5-4?
Yeah, 5-4 Marla Style. They're betting on the Forecast. They're betting on the Distance. So,
What's the distance then?
Each bookmaker's got their own,
Yeah.
they're like over 2 lengths, under 2 lengths, finish alone, that sort of thing. They've been quite creative up there.
I think it'll be over. I think it'll be. It won't be that far, I don't think, because I think they'll go steady.
Yeah, there's Potter around.
I think it might win by 6 lengths.
Do you want me to nip up and see what price I can
No,
avail?
not unless you feel really. I mean, I know fitness is your middle name, isn't it? Really.
I'm just worried about the bookmakers taking any money. But, there's plenty of people here. Plenty of people. The cars are still rolling in.
Because the bookmakers, I mean, they pay to be here, don't they?
150 quid each they paid to be here. Yeah.
So they're 150 quid down, as it were,
Yeah.
to start with. So they've got to make a few quid to.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing a job, aren't they?
They are, but they'll do their best. I mean, 4 runners they can make a decent.
And
race.
are there a few people?
People still
betting?
pouring in. There's plenty of people. The people don't know there's no runners. They're
And I
still
think-
pouring in now. So
I think-
they've come for a day out. They'll still find something to bet
And
on.
I think, and there's always some form of betting anyway. I mean, way to have a bet. Thank you very much. So 2-1 on Florrie Webb is the hot favourite. Marla Style, 5-4. So the runners heading down to the start. We're going to have, I'd say, run about 3 miles to race. Walking the course. I took it about. I didn't actually measure it on my phone. My phone does it give? I don't know if it gives different distances. It often says how many flights of stairs I've climbed, but it probably does mention distances. But I think it's about a mile, probably about a mile and a half round the course. But it's a lovely, lovely course, and the fences are quite inviting. But it's quite a lot of undulations as well. See how many steps I've done today. Oh, not very many really. I've only done a mile and a half already, so it must be less than a mile and a half around the course, unless we cut a few corners. But so they start in the far corner there, and when they go round twice, I can see that because they'll probably have about half a mile or so to the winning post, and then 2 more circuits. Yeah, around about 3 miles, I think. And there we can see in the distance the looking out towards Dartmoor and Cock's Tor and Pew Tor and Sheep's Tor. I've been learning the names of the various tours here, sort of a tour organizer. But the runners arriving down at the start. 2 of them, Florrie Webb, who is the favourite, with Will Biddick, who will be bidding for his 33rd victory of the campaign. Excellent jockey at any level, really. And Marla Starr, I'm not sure how many winners. If she wins, Gabby Ortwell, I will find out how many winners she has ridden. I'm sure maybe you viewers at home or wherever you happen to be will probably have the information. Oh, she's ridden 27 winners or something like that. I don't know, because although I've been point-to-pointing for many, many years, not so much in this area really, so I'm just feeling my way. I've had a couple of live stream days and they've been really good fun. I went to Buckfast Lee to watch my colleague Cornelius Lysett performing, and very good he was as well. And Chipley Park I went to. I've been lucky with the weather, that's for sure. But I would almost sacrifice the lovely sunshine we've got now for torrential rain. I'm saying that now, basking in the sun, but I probably, if I was getting wet, I probably would be grumbling about it. Mark Dennis is our commentator today, so he's going to be earning his corn, as it were, over this, because he's got to fill in between the. He'll probably have lots of Tomo-like comments to make during the various. He's got about 6 or 7 minutes to fill in whatever the average winning time is over this. But anyway, this is the Exeter Racecourse Intermediate Race. It's for all horses that have run in today's qualifier, so they will be eligible to run in the series final on April the 14th, which is not next week, the week after. 4,000 quid in prize money, it's not bad. It's a 3-miler as well. So it shouldn't be that long, according to my trusty battery watch, which I don't know, Richard Pittman, former racing hero Richard Pittman, gave me this watch years ago. I think he'd been to Japan and he had a great pocket full of them, and he said, "Here you are, have this," and I've used it ever since as a spare, really, but it goes particularly well and it tells good time. But the time is approaching for our second race here today. Safety factor is 18, not really in play today, I'm afraid. But it's such a shame. Wherever you look, there are cars and people having a marvellous time in the sunshine, and this could not be a more pleasant afternoon. Oh, Simon's waving, not just to say hello, but I'm sure what's happened?
Well, bookmakers, they've laid Florrie Webb. Simon James out there, he's laid a £200 at 1-2. He's laid 150 at 1-2, and he's laid 160 at 1-2, and it's now a 4-9 shot. Richard Pittard next door to him is having a lean up the favourite, and Joe Oliver is betting on Hereford.
Oh, really?
And he said, "Thanks for your nap for Cheltenham."
Oh, because it lost, probably, did it?
No, it won.
What was my nap for?
Fredericks.
Not Edwardstown, was
Edwardstown, yes.
Edwardstown.
Yeah, he said, "Thanks very much." He passes on his
Oh, that's very good.
and he told me to give you a sweet.
What is it?
It's a Mars.
It's a very, very
This is
nice looking Mars bar, which has been well melted, which I will put on my race card there, throwing it away with disdain. So, interesting. They're lining up, they're coming under orders, so let's go to live coverage, and Mark Dennis is our commentator. Here we go.
Like I said, just the two as they head towards the first of their 18 fences. They come to it. Florrie Webb was the one that led them over, and it's gone about 4 lengths clear then of Marla Style in the yellow colours as they take the first turn. That brings them back towards us for the first time this afternoon. First race in anger for the Spooners meeting. Race 2, the intermediate, and racing towards the second then. So Florrie Webb, partnered by Will Biddock. Will looking for a very quick and easy double on Florrie Webb. Took the opener, the walkover. And looking for winner number 33. Must tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that this is the master and pupil. So Ella Ortwell works for Will Biddock and took a bit of a chance there. Landed a little bit steeply on Marla Style, and now races up on the outside to go up and join the leader now. So they've reached fence number 4 then of the 18, and they're both over that safely. And now begin their run past the judge. 2 circuits ahead of them to race, and the open ditch is up next. So they race towards it now. Marla Style on the outside, and Florrie Webb there went straight through the top of it and has dumped Will Biddock very unceremoniously on the ground. Both horse and jockey are up okay. So that has left us with Marla Style. Marla Style now in isolation. Will was only telling me earlier on that he was riding at Fakenham yesterday and got dropped at the 3rd on a 6-1 on favourite. And again, he's on the favourite this afternoon. And they part company at the open ditch. So Marla Style now at the next, racing up the far side now. Got almost 2 circuits to complete and didn't look too impressed to be headed out into the country by himself, owned by Alan Walter. So now at the far end, just about to pass their point of departure. Ella Ortwell got 3 winners to her name, but none so far this season. And racing up to the next, fence number 7 then, and they're over that safely. And now begin to turn back towards us for the second time. Marla Style just warmed up to his task slightly, just racing within himself at the moment, and heads down to 2 plain fences in this part of the course. So Marla Style comes to it, sails out over it, jumps it okay. And just to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, Will, a few years back, probably would have remounted Florey Webb, but the rules have changed now, whereby remounting can no longer take place. So Marla Style has got to now complete by himself. It's going to give Ella hopefully her first winner of the campaign. As they race back into the home straight then, plain fence before the winning post and the open ditch next. So Ella Ortwell and Marla Style going to pass the judge. Second ahead of them to race, and the open ditch. Mark Danger up next for Marla Style. Comes to it now. Jumped that pretty well. Jumped it better than a boss did anyway. So they race left-handed now and head out into the country for the final time in this Exeter Racecourse Intermediate Race. Sponsored by Exeter Racecourse. The final is in just under 2 weeks' time at Exeter. £4,000 up for grab, and both Florey Webb and Marla Style are now eligible to race, and are both targets, or both intended targets for both of these horses. As Marla Style now goes down into the dip before they race up the far side and take on another plain fence. 2 plain fences come up pretty quickly in this part of the course. Taking the first one okay, and racing on to the next. And they come to it now and just dived at that. Took a real chance with it, Marla Style. Thought the race was just about to end then. But the partnership maintains. And they continue then past their point of departure once more. And just the 4 fences remain now between Marla Style and victory. So it comes to 4 out, jumped that a lot better than the last one. And now begin the turn back down the side of the course then. Ella Ortwell, this will be a decent ride. It's not easy to ride a horse around a course like this on its own, by himself. And racing down now towards the 3rd last then. Come to it now, and again jumped and measured that pretty well. And now settle down for a bit of a run to the 2nd last. Will Biddick tells me that Ella Ortwell's got quite a close friendship with a local trainer up in Somerset. As they come to the 2nd last, and you hold your breath. But just 1 fence remains now as they sweep left-handed and come into the home straight. And as they do so, they race towards the final fence, and they get over it safely. So Marla Style is going to take the Exeter Racecourse Intermediate, winner number 1 of Ella Ortwell's season, and a winner for Marla Style, and a very well done to them. And good luck at Exeter in about 2 weeks' time.
Minutes remaining for declarations to close in the 4th race. 10 minutes remaining for declarations to close in the 4th race.
Well done to Marla Style, who jumped impeccably, and that's what it's all about in the end. At the end of the day, it's about getting round, which I'm afraid Florrie Webb did not. Absolutely landed Will Biddick on the ground. Fingers crossed that everyone is okay, but Florrie Webb and Will are okay, but we'll keep you informed with that. But Marla Style, ridden by Gabby Ortwell, kind of believed her luck really when she suddenly saw the champion on the floor. She hadn't won for a while, Marla Style. She'd won last year. She was placed a few times. The season before, she ended with a couple of wins. She won a maiden and a restricted back in 2019, but she's done the job pretty well, and she will be delighted. Trained by Alan Walter and owned by the Ers and Mine partnership. So we've got, just keep you informed with the next race, which is due off at 2:40, the HCL Architects owner trainer conditions in celebration of Mr. Billy Lee's 90th birthday. I can share a birthday with him, but I'm not quite 90 yet. Anyway, Dan's Wee Man, 13-year-old, is number one. We've got 4 in this one. Number 2 is Footloose, who's ridden by Aaron Butterfield. Hope to be speaking to him a bit later on. Daisy White incidentally rides Dan's Wee Man. Abigail Lewis will be riding number 4, Mad for Action, who's already won the first race in inverted commas, walked over in the opener. And number 6, Syracuse's Dream, is the 4th runner. So 4 of the 6 have stood their ground for the third race, which is excellent news. If I look over my shoulder, I can see the, as you can see, the winner circling. And here is the winning trainer. A happy man, I think, Alan, aren't you? Alan Walter.
I am. Of course I am. It's a rather unfortunate race, but there we go. Yeah.
And tell us a bit about Marla Style, who she was. I mean, she's been in a couple of seasons ago. She ended on a high, and she was placed a few times last year. So she's pretty consistent.
Yeah. We planned to run in this race back in January. This was always going to be her first run for the better ground. That said, we didn't imagine it would be this firm, and it's sad the way the season is panning out.
It's heartbreaking, isn't it, for everyone involved? But you've got, one thing we can control many things, but we cannot control the weather. It's absolutely impossible. And we've had that bitterly cold, drying wind during the week and no rain. And I mean, do you train quite nearby here?
I train near Taunton. I have a property at Wiveliscombe, and as I say, by planning, we didn't want to run until this race and then run her through April and May. We want to run in the final, which is one of the reasons we've actually decided to run today.
So you will run at Exeter, will you?
Well, I want some rain. They don't water at Exeter, and I want some rain for Exeter.
Well, we spoke to in fact, I can see them over there, but they're watering today. I mean, they'll have to put a lot of water on. I think there's going to be some rain next week.
It does look that way, and she wants the fast side of good, so I'm not afraid of good to firm, but concrete's another thing.
Absolutely, and she jumped impeccably, didn't she?
And she'd be better a slightly quicker pace.
And tell us a bit about Gabby.
I enjoy using younger jockeys to give them a chance.
Would she have ridden?
It's her fourth winner.
Her fourth winner.
She hasn't ridden a winner under rules, but she works for Will Biddick, and she's a very good girl.
She works for Will Biddick, who was on the floor. So
she's Will Biddick's head girl.
Oh, really? I wonder what flashed through her mind when Will Biddick bit the dust.
Well, probably that she was looking for a job, but I'll give her one tomorrow, so it's not a problem.
Absolutely. And how many horses have you got on the go?
Well, we have 2 Point-To-Pointers, but in my yard we break a few in and we loose school them, and we sales prep. We do quite a lot of sales prep.
And has Point-To-Pointing been part of your life for many years?
Well, it has, but I run a transport business. I run 6 lorries from Taunton, so that's my main business.
I imagine it costs quite a lot to fill them up at the moment.
It does, yes. Yeah.
It is. It's a difficult business. You've got your presentation, I think, quite soon. I can see bottles of champagne, trophies and everything.
Well, it was such a hard race to win. I shall look forward to it, yes.
So we'll be seeing Marla Style, as you say, you've planned this more during the spring, long as the ground is okay.
Given luck and soundness, she will run till the end of the season.
Well, very sportive of you to take part today. You've done it and you've won.
Well, there you go.
Well done, Alan. Thank you very much. And who are the owners?
Well, my wife and I own half, and Shirley Turner and Chris Turner, she was the longest serving Point-To-Point secretary at Penturk and retired 3 years ago. They've retired to Cornwall and they own half of her as well.
Great. Well, good news for them as well. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
Very good indeed. And we've got the presentation coming up quite soon. Alan, let's just confirm the result. Won't take long to confirm. There we are. I can give you the winning time actually, 6 minutes 33 seconds, which is probably pretty pedestrian really, but well done to Gabby Ortwell, her fourth winner. So that'll mean a lot to her, and as long as Will Biddick doesn't give her a rollicking when she turns up for work. And I can see her behind me about to receive the prize. Nice trophy, champagne, and something else in a box as well. And they're all gathering just over my left shoulder.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the presentation of the second race, the Exeter Race.
That's happening right now.
Intermediate, and this race was won by Mahler Style.
I'm just pausing for a bit because Frank Yeo, who's doing the presentation, he's talking quite loudly.
The cup and the winning prizes to the owners.
We'll have more people to talk to during the afternoon.
The winning owners are the Ers and the Mine Partnership. This is Jane Walter from the Taunton Vale.
I'm sorry I can't swing the camera around so you can see.
Very good, excellent.
Ella.
Well ridden on your own through the course.
Okay. And they're posing. I can only paint a picture because it's just over my left shoulder. We haven't got a camera on the presentation, sadly. Oh, there we are. We can see what's going on.
They're going to call you the wrong name, aren't they?
I was nearly being put away. Ella Ortwell is here, the winning rider. Well done. Many congratulations. Step up to the microphone.
Thank you.
A proud moment. It's your fourth winner, I hear, from
yeah, it's been a while actually, since it's nice to get another one under the belt anyway.
Because you win a card as G.
Yeah, so that's Gabriella, but my nickname's Ella.
Gabriella. Ella, well done.
Thank you very much.
And it was a plain sailing, really. She jumped really well.
I just didn't think Will was going to fall, but yeah.
And you work for Will, which could be a bit awkward, couldn't it?
Well, yeah, he did just come up to me and congratulate me, which was nice, so that's good.
I mean, obviously, you two-horse races,
Yeah.
anything can happen, but you had a bit of form. I mean,
yeah, no, she was a nice mare. I rode her a bit at Bratton Down last season in the Open, and I was doing 10-2, so a lot of weight difference. But we were up a good horse, against good horses. So.
And Alan was saying, really, this is where her campaign starts at this time of year.
Yeah.
And what was it? I mean, the ground, we know it's pretty fast, but what was it like, do you think?
Yeah, it is fast out there, and it is rough, and obviously I ended up on my own, so I was hacking around basically to get home. So I wasn't going fast at all, but other than that, she was a great ride, great spin.
So where was your first winner? That must be a memorable moment.
So my first winner was at Fleet Park on There's No Panic in the 4 miles. And then I went back 2 weeks after in the 4 miler again, which he won.
And you won two of them over 4 miles.
2 over 4 miles. I think that was my third ride, and I was like, well, how the hell am I going to get around there doing 4 miles, knowing how unfit I was to begin with? But yeah,
because 4 miles is, I mean, you've got to be pretty fit for that, haven't you? I would dread to think what that would involve.
Yeah, it was alright actually. It was a very hot day though. Keep no Fleet Park up and down. That's of course there, isn't it? So I'm not going particularly fast, but yeah.
And does Will keep you pretty busy?
Yeah, we're flat out. Doing breakers for Paul, and we're getting busy now with more breakers. But I love it, it's great.
It must be fantastic. Is this a particularly busy time of year?
Yeah, so in a minute we'll have the sales, so we'll have sales horses coming in. Not so many pointers this time of year because all of our good ones going out now.
But
Obviously
when the new ones come in, must be always very exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of tumbles, but it's not too bad. And obviously we've got Porlock Bay on Thursday and the Fox Hunters, which I'm looking forward to. That'll be good.
So what are we expecting for Porlock Bay?
He's feeling very well at the moment, so I hope he'll
He's
run
a
well.
terrific horse, isn't
Yeah,
he?
he is. Yeah, lovely horse. So yeah, fingers crossed for him anyway.
Absolutely. I mean, riding around those Grand National fences, I mean, what would you think about that?
God, I don't know if I'd want to do it. If I'd
But
ever
even
do
now
it.
they say, oh, well, it's all been modified, it's all straight, it's just an ordinary park course.
Yeah.
It's not, though, is it?
No, I don't know. I've never done it. I've watched it and said, oh, I'd love to do that, but I don't think I'd want to get too close to the fences.
I thought one or two fences here, was the open ditch, I thought rather
it's
resembled.
rather big, yeah.
It looked like the chair to me.
Yeah, it is big. Actually jumped particularly well, I thought. Anyway, obviously, Will probably didn't think so.
Is it often the case? Yeah, absolutely. Is it often the case? I mean, the bigger fence, the more inviting the fence, maybe the better the horse jumps.
Yeah, I think so. Especially when the ditch board is a bit further out, you've got a bit more to get over it. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. I did walk it and think that is quite big.
So you're going to be pretty busy on Marlow Styles for the rest
I
of
hope
the spring,
so. Yeah,
really.
so she's due now to go to the Exeter intermediate finals there. So
As long as the ground is okay.
yeah, so hopefully I'll have the ride on her there as well. So
Have you ridden around Exeter?
I haven't. No, that would be my first ride under rules.
That'd be fantastic,
yeah,
though, wouldn't it?
Look forward to it.
Especially, I mean, about 2 miles round. It's a really good, proper national hunt course, isn't it?
Yeah,
How exciting! And have you got other horses to ride as well?
So I did have Silsol. So I rode him a bit earlier on in the season. He's actually retired now. He's 13. He's done what he needs to do. It was a fantastic horse for me and my family, and now he's going to go out in the field and I'll do a bit of hunting on him.
Fantastic. I'll keep an eye open for you, Ella, and very good luck in the future. Well done today.
Thank you so much.
Clutching
Cheers.
your prizes. Brilliant.
Thank you.
Ella Ortwell talking to us there about her ride on Marlow Style, riding her fourth winner of this season. Well done. Of course, I should have guessed when I said. And coming up, I like this. We've got a coming up board. We've got Mark Trenier, who's leading up Syracuse's Dream for his son Barnaby, and Mark's going to come and talk to us about the meeting at Fleet a little bit later. Is that? I think probably. Yeah, that's sort of coming up. We like a bit of a coming up section. Meanwhile, we're actually Simon's betting bulletin is going to take a different turn here with 4 runners. Dan's Wee Man, Footloose, Mad for Action, who we've already seen today, looked really well. Didn't have to do an awful lot in the walkover, but well done to Connections having another go. Used to be with John Joe O'Neill, Mad for Action, in years gone by. Did absolutely nothing for him, and has 0 from 13 in point-to-points, but I suppose 1 from 14 now. So Mad for Action is a winner, and Syracuse's Dream, who we were talking about that's the Trenier horse. Mark Trenier, that's right. And Barnaby is the son. We've got a lovely grey horse there. That is Syracuse's Dream. Almost white. 11-year-old, grey gelding. He's won 4 point-to-points. His last win was this time last year. He won at Fleet Park, and we'll be able to spot him very easily indeed. He got beaten a long way by Footloose, who he faces again today. It was a 20-to-1 shot, finished 6th behind Footloose at Kilworthy. And there is, and this is a fact I was told a bit earlier, number 1, Dan's Wee Man, did at one stage belong to Guy Disney, was trained by Peter Mason, and he was bought, he's 13 years old now, he was bought for £1. You can't buy, even in Poundland you can't get much for £1. And it's Daisy White's first season. She's only 16, and she rides Dan's Wee Man, and that's what point-to-pointing is all about. You've got a bit of human interest stories, and you've got to start somewhere. And for Daisy, who knows, she might be a champion one day, and that is her there in the yellow and the green spots. Daisy White, Dan's wee man, who last won in April 2018. It's had a few runs this season, got beaten quite a long way at Brayfield back in last month, actually, 20th of March. Got beaten 32 lengths behind Precious Bounty. Dan's wee man. Footloose is the one that's number 4, Mad for Action, who we've seen already today. Footloose, I'd like to see. Aaron Butterfield rides Footloose. Trains the horse as well. And that'll be in black and orange seams. You can see there, just in the far, coming towards us now, is Footloose, who's been in fantastic form this season. He's run 6 times. He's won on 3 occasions. He won a Larkhill Maiden and a Restricted. Finished 2nd in the Larkhill Conditions race, and then won narrowly by a neck at Kilworth. I can spot the trousers a mile off. In the corner of my eye, Simon Knott's reappeared, and I imagine Footloose is the one to beat here, isn't it?
Yeah, Footloose is the eyes on 2 to 5 favourite in this race. The rest of them pretty much up there together. Dan's wee man's a 7 to 2 chance. Mad for Action 5 to 1, and Syracuse's Dream 4 to 1. It's a bit like the Cherrybrook Grand National, this race, with 4 runners.
I mean, it is, isn't it? I mean,
there's a big crowd up there. Bookmakers are being kept busy. There's a lot of people here today, despite the lack of runners.
I know, it's great. I mean, I think it's it's part and parcel of the game, and people are here. And I bet you, if you asked them, they're enjoying themselves.
They are, yeah. And the picnics, they've still got their picnics going and everything. It's just a day out in the countryside, isn't it?
And I imagine with the favourite not completing in the previous race, the bookmakers have got sort of a half smile on their faces.
Some of them have. I just spoke to Simon James. I think you'll be seeing the video footage later. He stuck his neck out because he thought that if Will Billick had been on the other one, there would have been the same prices flip-flopped. So he took a chance. Obviously, he's very pleased that the horse is okay, but he did, he got his money on the race. Richard Pittard, who thinks he was clever, went for the favourite. Of course, he lost because he had the winner as a loser. So swings and roundabouts with them all.
Absolutely. Okay. So Footloose, the one to beat, 5 to 2 on at the moment, and the runners heading down to the start. And this race celebrates Billy Lee's 90th birthday. See them, it's the way they're heading at the moment. I think they're probably going, let's look over my shoulder, going downhill, walking the course. It's quite walking away from the winning post. It's you go down quite sharply for some time, and then there's a steady climb up. So it's a bit of everything here, really. And certainly the finish is on an uphill run, but it's a great viewing course, really is. And I can imagine, and I'll come back here one day, I hope, in when there are more runners and when the ground is softer, and I imagine it's a terrific sight. So the runner's just out of view at the moment, so you've got to put up with me for a minute or two. We could have, let's go back to Simon and have a bit of an update, a chat. He loves chatting to bookmakers. Won't be that long before that. cars arriving still behind me, and no one leaving, and lorries as well, which is great news. Lorry loads of, well, I suppose horses rather than people. There's people, unless they're being imported from local villages by the lorry load, which would be very nice to see. Mind you, it's pretty good turnout here today, which is fantastic in a way. It's just it's one of those sad facts of life that you have small fields. But on the plus side, there were only 6 entered for this race. And we got 4 runners, so we got a pretty good take up there. The only 2 that don't go are Kilronan Castle and Mickey Stark. But just giving you a rundown of the runners once again. Footloose was the 5-2 favourite when we heard from Simon. He's been in great form. Aaron Butterfield is the jockey on board. The horse that's won 3 of his 6 starts so far this season. He'll be racing in the black and orange seams colours. The grey you can see through the branches is Syracuse's Dream, who is ridden by Barnaby Trenier. We've got Dan's Wee Man, who was bought for £1 from Guy Disney and belongs to Daisy White, ridden by Daisy White, so very good luck to her. Only 16 years old, so good luck. And Mad for Action is the other one, who we've already talked about and seen today. Walked over in the first race of the day. So Abigail Lewis has already got a trophy and probably a bottle of champagne to take home. So who knows? Mad for Action is the 5-1 outsider of the 4 runners. And as we saw in the last race, the favourite did get turned over. So it shouldn't be that long before they're just checking my watch. It's about 4 minutes, I think, before the off time of this race, and it will be underway for the 3rd of our 7 races. So, yeah, Aaron Butterfield. It's almost post time, I can hear Mark Dennis, our commentator, saying. But quite a classy horse. When I was going through the race and looking at it, I thought Footloose would be one of the stars I'd be seeing here today. He's been in great form. An 8-year-old by Suleimani. A bit of flat blood in there. And he's won 3 out of 10 and been placed in 4 times. So very consistent indeed. Footloose and maybe fancy free today for Aaron Butterfield. And should he win? He only won by a neck last time, actually. Beat a horse called Jabir at Kilworthy, and Party Tunes, who was down to run, I think a bit later on, was back in 3rd, but we'll come to that a little bit later on. So very soon we'll go back and see them down at the start, I hope to goodness. Meanwhile, may I welcome any viewers this afternoon on pointingdc.co.uk, and we have action here. We've started, each race has produced more and more runners. We had a walkover in the first race, we had a 2-runner field in the previous one, and we've got 4 here. As Simon Knott was saying, this is almost the Cherrybrook Grand National. We've got so many horses. Just think, this time next week we'll know the winner. Simon is back again for a late flash of betting, Simon. 5-2 on when we last heard Footloose. Yeah,
well, it's gone 1-2 in places, and one bookmaker's laid 130 to 260 on.
So what are they backing?
Well, Footloose, they're not really. Footloose is the only one there's been any money for. Some of them are 3-1 on. Simon James, the one that copped it last time, is still trying to get it in. He's hoping to ride his luck, but generally be a 2-5 shot. I imagine the SP will be. Everything else, a little bit of money for Dan's Wee Man. 7-2 only once in a place now. That was 7-2 everywhere earlier. So. It's a race.
It's a sort of day where it requires a bit of ingenuity from the bookmakers, and they seem to be just doing just that.
Yeah, well, there's people here, they want to bet on something, and they're quite happy to. It's only recreational punters mostly. But yeah,
like most of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bet responsibly.
Yeah, bet responsibly. Never bet when you're tired, in which case, or feeling very low, or hungry and thirsty. They're off and running.
fences, and all four are safely out over. Syracuse's Dream was a little bit slow over that, just got relegated from the front rank back to third as they turned back towards us then for the first time. And it's Mad for Action, already a winner this afternoon on the outside of Dan Wee Man. And these two, Dan Wee Man with the advantage at the moment, taking fence number 2 of the 18, and both leaders jumped and stood off of it pretty well, and all are over it safely. Now settle a bit down for a bit of a run down to the next. Footloose was the 3-1 on favourite. Then it's 3-1 Dan's Wee Man, 7-2 Syracuse's Dream, and Mad for Action, the outsider of the 4 at 4-1. So they've safely taken fence number 3. And again, Syracuse's Dream just not too fluent over that, and was just given a fairly vigorous shake of the reins on landing there by Barnaby Trenier as they take the next then. 2 leaders safely out over it, they all are. And now prepare then to pass the judge and take on the open ditch for the first time. So Dan's Wee Man on the inside of Mad for Action. These two take the ditch then, and they both jump the ditch okay. Syracuse's Dream again was just ridden away from the ditch as they now head out into the country for the first time then. Dan's Wee Man with the fractional advantage over Mad for Action on the outside. 2 lengths then back to the favourite Footloose and Aaron Butterfield, who's based up in Somerset, works for the Tizzards, Colin Tizzard and Joe. Trains his pointers in the afternoon, and Footloose is looking for a 4-timer this season, scored 3 winners already in this campaign, and favourite to follow up with number 4 here this afternoon as they cross the next then, and they're all over that safely, and the next comes up quickly now. So on the inside, Dan's Wee Man, out jumped there on the outside by Mad for Action, and Abby Lewis owns and trains this one, so they now sweep left-handed. 1 circuit now almost complete, and head away up the side of the course then towards this solitary island fence in this part of the course. So Mad for Action about a half length clear now of Dan's Wee Man in second. Dan's Wee Man partnered by Daisy White, daughter of Johnson White, who's Philip Hobbs's assistant up at Minehead. And Daisy's had 6 rides this season. Best of them is a 3rd last time out. And they now are on the turn, or have completed the turn back towards us. And Mad for Action leads them down towards the next. And they're all over that safely. Mad for Action by a half length of Dan's Wee Man. Footloose just shows in 3rd from Syracuse's Dream now. He's just warming up to his task a little after a bit of a slow jumping first circuit as they race down to the next then. Come to it now, and a good big jump there on the inside by Dan's Wee Man. Really gave it a lot of air, stood right off of it, and now they turn into the home straight then for the second time, and not a great deal of pace on over in the first early stages of this race, so things are going to pick up shortly, I would imagine. Mad for Action and Dan's Wee Man, where they have been for most of the racing, these two vying for the lead. They pass the judge. The open ditch is up next, just under a circuit to race. This is the ditch then, and Footloose just ran out or jumped out to his right slightly there. Syracuse's Dream again was driven away from it pretty vigorously by Barnaby Trenier to maintain 3rd place then, as Footloose just comes under a little bit of pressure. Aaron Butterfield just a little bit lower in the saddle on this one, the back marker, the favourite. 3-1 on as they make the descent now into the to the dip before they head up the far side. So as they do so, Dan's Wee Man and Mad for Action. A length clear then of Syracuse's Dream, then Footloose a half length down on the outside as they cross the next then. They're all over that safely. And continue on to the next then. Dan's Wee Man and Mad for Action. Those two jump and land together. They're 2 lengths clear then of Footloose and Syracuse's Dream as they sweep left-handed now and head up the far side of the course then for the final time in this conditions race. As they do so, Mad Fractions just drop back, or just goes up on the outside of Dan's Wee Man. Again, these two matching strides as they take the next then, and Mad Fraction, Abby Lewis, just asked this one for a little bit of an effort now, and it goes on by a half length, but the two pursuers, Footloose now comes between the long-time two leaders. Footloose in the centre, on the inside Dan's Wee Man, Mad Fraction on the outside, back in third now. So 3 out coming up then for Footloose on the outside of Dan's Wee Man. Syracuse Dream back in fourth, around about 8 lengths off of the 3 leaders now as they continue on down then. And Aaron Butterfield tries to assert now on Footloose, who's gone 2.5 lengths clear then. This is 2 out. That was Aaron Butterfield. And Footloose 3-4 lengths clear now of Dan's Wee Man. And Mad Fractions back in fourth. Syracuse's Dreams just maybe running on a bit from the back. But the final fence then, Footloose kicked into it, jumps it well out in front. Dan's Wee Man gives chase back in second, Mad Fractions third, but it's the odds-on favourite, 3-1 on Footloose, going to score a 4-timer under Aaron Butterfield this afternoon. And Dan's Wee Man is finishing second, Mad Fractions, Syracuse Dream in 4.
Right, but you haven't tried HRT. You are not. You are right. Okay. Are you on a tablet check every day? Right. I was on Feniston to start with. Do you have a patch? No.
So the winner, Footloose, ridden and trained by Aaron Butterfield. Just for a moment it looked like there might have been a tiny bit of trouble. He was just, given a pretty canny ride really, setting out in the final circuit. He was for last of the 4, but he made good progress to challenge for leaders. I thought Daisy White gave Dan's Wee Man a terrific ride, and they finished second. The old boy, Dan's Wee Man, 13 years old, only 3 years younger than Daisy. So she's in her first season. I thought she gave Dan's Wee Man a really good ride. Mad Fraction, who we saw earlier walking over, couldn't complete the double. Coming back to warm applause behind us. You can hear just a ripple of applause in the winner's enclosure. And the last of the 4 was the grey Barnaby Trenier on Syracuse's Dream, who has finished 4th of the 4 runners. And the good news is here that they all 4 jumped pretty well, and they all completed, which was good. So no doubt we were getting a bit of feedback. You can see there, not far away from a bucket of water. But it's great to see them just after having a welcome drink of water. Got the blinkers on. Looks like he can do it again. Footloose, and that's Aaron Butterfield having a chat how he did it. And the horse is just to my left. So the full result, just to confirm the result: Footloose the winner. Second home was Dan's Wee Man. Mad Fraction was third, and last of the quartet. But getting round and jumping safely and seemingly enjoying himself, Barnaby Trenier on Syracuse's Dream. So while we wait for Aaron, we might have a word with Daisy. It'd be nice to speak to her, but let's have a quick look at the replay in the meantime.
4 lengths clear now of Dan's Wee Man, and Mad Fractions back in fourth. Syracuse's Dreams just maybe running on a bit from the back, but the final fence then, Footloose kicked into it, jumps it well out in front. Dan's Wee Man gives chase back in second, Mad Fractions third, but it's the odds-on favourite, 3-1 on Footloose, going to score a 4-timer under Aaron Butterfield this afternoon. And Dan's Wee Man is finishing second, Mad Fractions, Syracuse Dream in 4.
Four, 5, 7. Oh,
hello.
Daisy's joined us. Hello. Daisy White.
Yes.
I thought you gave old Dan's wee man, who's only 3 years younger than you,
Yes.
a terrific ride. How exciting was that?
It was amazing. No, we love him. We have him all at home, and he normally is a soft ground horse. And we thought, coming here today, we've driven quite a long way to see Granny and ride here, and he just ran amazingly. Very happy, and we thought we were going to have to pull up because his action's quite high, so fast.
So you're
down.
over in Beaufort country.
Yes, we are.
So it is a bit of a hike, really.
It is a bit of a hike.
And do you travel far and wide? Is this unusual? You come this far?
Well, Granny lives down here, so we quite often come and see race down here. So we came to Chipley a few weekends ago. But probably this is one of our furthest ones.
The difference between we were at Chipley and the ground there was perfect, really, wasn't it? And now we've had this drive. Is it pretty quick out there?
It is. They go in a bit further than I was expecting them to, but it's definitely firm in places. But the landing's been renovated, so it's quite nice.
And there was a moment when I thought you were coming back at Footloose, actually.
Yeah, we did. Probably if I pushed a little bit sooner, we might have got there. But I was quite happy to get over the loss and keep pushing up to second.
So. A lot of these horses, I mean, to everyone here, they're sort of old friends because you get to see them. But I imagine Dan's wee man is a real old friend of yours.
Yes, I met someone in the weighing room who rode him about 5 years ago, so he's been around the block a few times and given.
Because Guy Disney used to own him, and you bought him for £1, is that right?
I bought him for £1 off Guy Disney. He knows no one nothing, and just giving me my first season.
You can't buy anything for £1.
Exactly. We were very lucky, and for what he is amazing. And for £1, we're very happy.
And this is your first season riding.
First season, yeah. This is my 6th ride, so.
But you look. I mean, you've obviously been riding. Did you ride in any pony races?
Did the pony racing from 9, so I had some.
Because that is such a good grounding. Because I thought. You're talking to someone who hardly rides at all, but I sort of, I see a lot of racing, but I thought you looked pretty polished and stylish, really.
Thank you very much. I don't know how many rides I've had pony racing, but definitely over 40. So we've had some fun doing that.
Because there they go, they take no prisoners in those pony races.
No, there's some quick ponies. And
did you have a quick one?
In the right race, he was again a soft ground horse, so we were always trying to follow the rein. So he was nice. He got me in the placings most of the time.
So apart from Dan's wee man, have you got any others to ride this season?
No, he's my only one and only. We're looking for some as the end of season comes, but he's for now. And this might be his last season, depending on how he comes out.
I mean, 13. I mean, he seems to be thoroughly enjoying himself.
He's loving it. No, he's very happy at home, going up the gallops, and he loves it at the racecourse. So he's great.
Fantastic. I think it's great to see these horses, and obviously you give him a bit of time to get over this.
Yes,
before
we'll probably give him a few weeks or so.
Yeah.
To give him a bit of recovery.
And so, what else is happening in your life? At the same time, what else do you do?
Well, A levels at the moment, so that's taking up quite a bit of time.
A levels.
Yeah.
So you've got a little while. What, next year?
Yeah, A levels next year. Yes. So we've got some exams coming up. So trying to fit in horses and revising's been interesting.
I suppose there are things that's got to be done. All this education business.
Yeah, it's very boring, but it's good in the end.
Great. Well, anyway, very well ridden.
Thank you very
much.
Bad
luck for not winning, but I think you did really well finishing second. And nice to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you.
Thank you very much. Daisy White, fantastic in her first season. I thought she looked very, very polished on that. On old Dan's wee man. Let's hope he gets over that. He seemed to be pretty happy with life, and he has finished second. And we'll give you the runners for the next race quite soon. First things first, we give you the result. Let's give you the result of this last one. Look at that, first three. Time 6 minutes 21. Number 2, Footloose, ridden by Aaron Butterfield. Second, I think it's quite good. Often we always speak to winners, but I think it's quite good to speak to the not vanquished, but those who've taken part as well. It's great to hear from Daisy White, who rode Dan's wee man. Third was number 4, Mad for Action, who walked over earlier. And last, by no means disgraced, was Syracuse's Dream, who finished the grey horse, almost white horse, finished 4th of the 4. So well done to Footloose, who wins that race. We now come to the DBR Cars Mixed Open. I'll give you the runners for that quite soon. I can give you a heads up there, because there are 3 of them. Dry Old Party, and we're ready to see them now. Let's have a look at the runners for the next race. 4, Dry Old Party, ridden by Chloe Emsley. 5, is Erdisland, ridden by, I've forgotten her, Miss Herbison. Ella, I knew it was Ella. And Molyneux, who is trained by Colin Tizard and ridden by Freddie Gingell, who rode his first winner at Buckfastleigh back in January, I think it was. But he's done really. He's a very good young rider. On the 16th of January, his first winner was Freddie, and Colin Tizard is here, and Molyneux will take one heck of a lot of beating, I'd have thought. So far, he's run 7 times this season, winning four occasions, and finishing second on the other 2. He's been favoured in his last 6 runs. His latest, when he won, beat a horse called Minim Mouse by 5 lengths, trained by Chloe Newman. But he won 4 times under rules for Colin Tizard, 2 hurdles and 2 times. We've spoken to the runner-up rider. Here is the winner. Aaron Butterfield is here. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Did it go like clockwork?
Yeah, it went fairly to plan. The plan was only just 4 runners. Probably more runners are better for him, just to settle him and get him into a rhythm. And he wouldn't be the easiest ride.
Is he a bit tricky?
Yeah, he's a bit tricky.
If he might be tricky, but he's jolly consistent, isn't he?
Yeah, he's very consistent. He's very game old horse. But he makes everything very easy. He jumps very well, travels very well, and the plan was just to get a lead round follow and try and take up 2 out and go and finish the race.
Because you were just biding your time, setting out in the final circuit. You were last of the 4, but just waiting to pounce.
Yeah, I was very happy to bide my time. I know he stays very well, and the uphill finish was probably a help to him, really. So I was very happy to bide my time and just get a lead for as long as I could, really.
But what a good horse to have. I mean, tell us the story of how you got him, and how long have you had him?
I was just on, as you do, late evening on Facebook, scrolling through, and I saw Harriet Brown put up an advert for him, and we went and had a look at him and his form. And
had he got much form at that stage?
Yeah, he was 5th round Wincanton in a beginner's chase, and I think he was placed a couple of times over hurdles, but he just looked to be wanting further, really. And then Harriet Brown had him off from there, and finished 3rd round Maysmore in a half decent maiden. So he looked a good buy, and I spoke to Michael McIntyre that rode him a couple of times, and he said that he would be worth a go, and so I went down, looked at him, brought him, and brought him back, and a change of scenery seemed to have freshened up and helped him this season.
And you've got a busy week coming up, because you ride Smith's Corner, didn't you, on Tuesday, is it, in the Hunter Chase?
Yeah.
At Exeter?
I popped down a couple of days.
That's for Gordon Chambers?
For Gordon Chambers, and I've luckily picked up riding the Hunter Chase Tuesday on Smith's Corner at Exeter.
So you're training and riding?
Yeah.
So it's quite I mean, how old are you if it's not?
I'm 18.
That's a pretty, it's quite a lot of responsibility quite early in life, but it seems to be going well. How many horses have you got?
I've only got 2 of my own, and then I work part-time for Colin Tizard, riding out in the mornings, and then try and spend my afternoons riding my own and keeping my feet in the door with other people.
That must be a great life, though, isn't it, really?
A great life.
Is it what you always wanted to do?
Always wanted to do, from probably since I was 18 months old. It's probably what I've always wanted to do.
Since you were 18 months old?
Yeah, 18 months.
Has it been is it very much in the family?
Yeah, Dad was an amateur jockey, rode pointing, had 100 odd rides, and it's come through the family. So
how many winners have you ridden so far?
This is my 4th winner today.
And how many seasons? Is this your 2nd season? Or?
Second proper season, full season. So yeah.
Great. I mean, it must be good. I mean, the more rides you get, the more experience you get, and
100%.
And riding, I imagine you ride some pretty classy horses for Colin.
Yeah, I ride plenty of decent horses for Mr. Tizard, so I'm quite lucky, really.
What's the best one you've ridden for him at home?
I've sat on quite a few nice horses, but probably Alexia Donutz in his prime was
really
probably very good. So yeah.
That must be a real thrill, really.
Yeah.
I mean, the buzz early in the morning must be immense.
Getting up to know you're going to go and ride some nice horses is a great feeling.
And do you plan to sort of expand your string of horses, try and get a few more, or is that?
We'd like to get a couple of more. Me and a friend of mine, Gwyn Marsh, who leads up, we're looking to do pre-training and break-in through the summer, and probably try and keep that going through next year. So we're going to try and do it that way, and hopefully get a few horses in
You
for
can
the
make
summer.
a living out of this, can you? I mean,
I'd like to make a living out of it, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we'd.
if
that's
it's what you
we're
wanted to
planning
do from being 18 months old, I think
Yeah.
it's very good to have ambition when you're 18.
Yeah.
Which is very good. So fantastic. Anyway, very nice to talk to you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Well ridden.
Thank you very much.
And, I mean, the ground out there is, I mean, it's quick ground, isn't it?
Yeah, it'd probably be on the quick side of good, but they're making a nice.
Did you want the ground to be quick?
Ideally, we'd have probably liked it on the slightly softer side, but they've done what they can. And
so you took a bit of a gamble.
We took a bit of a risk, but he's gone on it well enough. So
I think it's marvellous that you've actually. I mean, we had 4 runners in that. It was, considering we were all set for a lot of walkovers. I think that's pretty sporting of everyone, really, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the more runners, the better for a pointing nowadays, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So,
great to talk to you, Aaron, and
Thank you
very
very
well
much.
done. Talk to you again soon, I hope, with more winners.
Perfect. Thank you.
Gordon Edwards is here, father of Darren.
Good afternoon, Robert.
Oh, it's good to see you. Step up to the microphone. Don't get too.
Okay, all right.
So, what here? Because there's a new course, is there? At South Hill.
South Hill. This is for the Devon.
Near Delverton.
Yeah, near Delverton for the Devon and Somerset point-to-point.
Years and years ago, I was staying with some friends down in that part of the world, and someone suggested, anyone fancy going to a point-to-point? And I said, yes, please. And there was one, it seemed to be in the middle of on the moor somewhere. Would that be?
Yeah, there used to be a course just
Was
across
that on
the
Exmoor?
road at Mounts Hill Gate. Yeah,
It seemed to be in the middle of. It was a lovely day, and it was in the middle of nowhere, and it just felt. You thought this could be 100 years ago. Nothing has changed at all.
And also there used to be a course over at Venford as well, which was not far, where they used to actually, the first part of the course, they raced across the moor and then back onto the grass. Yeah, that was.
So this is a new
venture for us. Yeah, obviously we normally have always raced down at Honeycutt, but then Minded Harriers are still racing at Honeycutt the following week. But actually, we decided 2 seasons ago that we would try and go for a new course.
So how do you set it up? I mean, you've got to find. One can just say, "Oh, this looks a good place," but you've got to.
Yeah. Obviously, this actual site is a 100-acre field. So basically, there's no hedges or anything like that.
Ideal.
It slopes away on one side a bit, but we did have an open day there back in late October this year, where we mowed a track around, and then we had an open day with food, and some people came and brought their horses and galloped them round just to get a sort of general opinion, and we had a very good turnout actually. And then following that open day, we actually learnt a lot. So we've actually moved the course now slightly from that open day, and it's actually now going quite a little bit further down over the hill, but it actually, I think it's going to ride much better.
And when's the first meeting going to happen?
It's the first Sunday in May.
So it's coming up very soon.
Oh yes, it's about a month.
So the fences are all up, and the courses.
No, the fences are due to go out next week. I think is the plan. It gets the fences out on the course. We've got.
Is it quite undulating, or is it quite a stiff track?
There's one decline down the hill. That'll be after the winning post. The start is going to be at the bottom of the hill, and then we do almost 3 circuits, but not quite. And actually, from the bottom of the hill, most of it is slightly against the grain, really. A steady climb up and around behind the marquees, which will be in sets, and then down the hill, and then a steady climb back up around again. I think it'll be a testing course, but a fair course,
I just hope you get some rain, because I mean, we're in the lap of the gods as far as the weather.
Yeah.
It's so. It's fantastic to see a fantastic turnout for people coming here to watch the racing today. It's just so sad that the ground is so fast.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we actually there have got quite a. We can water. Quite a close watering system that we can use. But at the moment, the ground there's plenty of grass on it, and I would say the ground is good. Up to a week ago, it was good to soft in places, So.
And has there been good local interest?
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be. Hopefully, we're building up towards trying to get it advertised as much as possible. And what we're going to do is, as soon as the fences are out on the course, we're going to have another fly around with the drone, so that people will be actually able to see exactly where the course goes and and actually, you know, have a look at it in that way. So that should be out soon after we got the fences
Fantastic.
on the course.
I mean, it's quite an undertaking, isn't it? I mean, I
It
imagine
is
it's quite an expensive
to start
undertaking.
a new course, but luckily we were able to, because the Taunton Vale were no longer having their meeting at Kingston.
So there was demand for it.
Yeah, then we were able to purchase their fences because they've now moved to Cottleston. Yeah. So we've purchased some of their fences, and we're having a few new sections made up as well.
Brilliant.
So yes, it's all coming together, hopefully.
Well done. I think it'll be very, very interesting.
Well, yes, yeah. I think you know, it's in the present climate, it's a bit of a brave venture, but I think we've got a very understanding landowner who's.
The landowner is obviously keen.
Yeah. He's actually, as from the 1st of April, that would have been. He's putting no stock on the ground. The ground is clean, and like I say, loads of grass there, so that helps a lot, really. Yeah,
so he's actually, you know, there's a 100-acre field, but he's just not using at all.
He's not using that. No.
Fantastic.
And that's the Everard family, and they're very supportive.
Good for the Everard family. Let's give them a good mention. Thank you very much, Gordon. Very good luck.
Thank you, Robert.
Very nice to see you.
Yes, you too.
Darren here today. Is he?
Yes, he's riding in the last, I think. Yeah.
Good. Runners come, you know, not so thick and fast.
But
no. But he's had a good season there, hasn't he?
Very good. Yeah. Slowed down a bit the last couple of weeks, but
he's getting on a bit, isn't he?
Not him. The horses have slowed down.
Yeah, I know.
As regards the winners.
I knew what you meant. Thank you very much, Gordon.
Thank you, Robert.
Very nice to talk to you. How exciting is that? A new point-to-point course, which takes us on to our next race, the mixed open, and the runners. Oh, I thought they would be in the parade ring, 3:25. No, I suppose it's early days, another 20 minutes. Simon Knott is here. Whenever one hasn't got much to say, Simon always comes along. Let's see, the course update at Upcott, which is, when are they racing there? A few weeks away, with good covering of grass, and they will water a few weeks away, which is very good news. We give you amazing the updates we have, isn't it?
It's in the 21st century now, this sport, isn't it? Especially with this going on.
Moving into the 21st century. Can you imagine this happening in our youth?
Not at all.
Not really.
No, not at all.
Anyway, we got 3 in the next. Molyneux's a good thing, isn't it?
It's a 5-2 on favourite. Best price. Dry Party 6-4.
I'd have 5 somethings to win 2 somethings on that, I think.
I'll be up in. Your credit's good here, Bob. So you can think of a figure.
I'm just thinking if I had the. I was going to. The proviso was if I had the dosh. But you'd have thought. I mean, he's been in great form.
Yeah, one of the bookmakers that left early said that he should win, but he's also seen him lose races like this.
Well, Erdesland hasn't run for donkey's years. She's been off for ages. Dry Old Party finished second the other day, beaten quite a long way. But so what price is Dry Old Party?
6-4. Yeah, I mean, I think it's 6 seasons. 2016, Erd Island hasn't run for. So
October 2016.
Quite a gap by anybody's standards, isn't it?
He was trained by. He was bred by Richard Johnson. Funny enough.
Really?
Yep. And was trained by Philip Hobbs for a while. So obviously he's had one or two little problems. She's had one or two little problems. So anyway, yeah.
So that's the
2-5.
2-5.
I bet you that all goes.
I'll go and check. I'll come back and report.
There'll be someone with a little carrier bag with 500 to win 200. And mind you, I'd love to win 200, but I can't afford to lose 500.
No. So if you have it on credit, it's like it's free, isn't it?
No, you've got to pay in the end, though.
Only if it loses, Bob.
Sorry?
Only if it loses.
Oh, only if it loses. Yeah, I suppose that's true. Thank you, Simon. Simon Knott with the betting update. I think 5-2 on. Surely Molyneux, trained by Colin Tizard, trained by a pro. Freddie Gingell. I've got to get this right. Start with a hard G. Gingell. It's in his blood, really. And I was at Buckfast Lee when he rode his first winner on this horse, on much softer ground. We've got another update coming up quite soon. We've got a lot of Rita, who does tireless work here. I've never known anyone work so hard, and her writing is excellent as well. And Chloe Emsley had success with Wintour recently. Oh yes. I'm not sure what that's relevant to. Oh, she's riding later. We're giving you a future look into the Colin Tizard did have one that entered later on, Lillington, but probably won't run. I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll find out. This is our fourth race, fourth of 7. And there are the runners in the parade ring. That one just going past us was Dry Old Party, who's trained by Stuart Payne and ridden by, I'm not sure, I haven't got, I didn't jot that down, which I'm sure Rita will fill me in with Dry Old Party, who rides that one. Chloe Emsley.
That's why it was relevant.
Yep. That's why it was relevant, she says, in rather a pointed tone of voice. But I see, I erred there. And Erdisland, I'm not up to date. If we have a look at in a moment, we'll have a look at the caption again for the runners and riders. I mean, I can take notes. But I've been talking, Gordon Edwards I was talking to for a long time. Daisy White, that was a charming person to talk to in her early days. But that is Dry Old Party. Coming past, we'll have a look at some of the other ones as well.
Ella Herberson on number...
Ella Herberson rides number 5, that's the one. Ella Herberson rides number 5, Erdisland. Freddie rides Molyneux. And that's it. We're up to date. That's how inefficient I was. 3 runners and only have a jockey for one of them. Now, who's coming up here? That's Erdisland coming here. Let's see how she looks. Stay with her for a bit because she's been off the course for a long time. As I said, she was trained by one of the great champion jockeys we've had over the years. This course was A.P. McCoy, but Richard Johnson, who finished runner-up so many times, did eventually end up winning the championship a few times as well. Not as many as A.P., but he won it. And what an excellent man he was in the saddle. And he bred Erdisland, who was trained for a while by Philip Hobbs and is now trained by Christine Gray, owned by Mr. Richard House, and Ella Herberson is on board. And obviously, I say obviously, as Erdisland must have had a problem or two, or maybe she just decided not to race her, but she's been off for 6 years. The last time she ran is when she was a 6-year-old. She won a couple of races under rules in 2016, and she was last seen, she'd never run over fences, she'd only run over hurdles, so it'll be interesting to see whether this long-awaited comeback, how it goes really. She's the outsider of the trio, and we'll look, there's Molyneux, there's the favourite. He's a good horse, Molyneux, he really is. He's been favoured in his last 6 appearances. He won 4 races under rules. He won a couple of times over hurdles and a couple of times over fences, but I've seen him once or twice already this season. He in the middle of March, he actually got beaten by Rocheston, who was one of the entries here. That would have been a good rematch, wouldn't it? Thomas Dograll's horse, Rocheston, and Molyneux got beaten. Must have been a thriller actually. Rocheston was a 16-to-1 shot and beat Molyneux by a head. Ridden by Freddie on that occasion as well. So you'd have thought against just 2 rivals today, if he jumps around safely, he will win this. But you never know, because we had a 2-to-1 on favourite in the opening race, 5-to-2 on, something like that, with Will Biddick on board of all people. You know, the Brian Hughes of the point-to-pointing world, and he fell. So, you know, there's no well, there are one or two certainties in life, but odds-on favourites are certainly not one of them. And the jockeys, the three jockeys, are in the parade ring, and we'll see them quite soon. A few hugs of greeting. That was in the red and yellow stripes. That was Chloe Emsley, owned and trained, well, owned by the Stuart Payne Racing Club and trained by Stuart. And Dry Old Party is 1-2 from 9. Was trained by Kaylee Woolacott some time ago.
I don't know whether you want to call out the town. We found a phone. It's got the driver's license there, so you could know.
Oh, we could. Someone has just found a phone with a driving license. I thought I'd made. That was worrying. I thought I had it, but what a good noble. It's quite good to have people. You see that Simon's coming back. Someone found a phone with lots of credit cards and things. I mean, you know, I'd have had my 500 to win 200.
You were right.
It's gone.
It's gone.
2-7.
Well, you can still get 3 on, but one bookmaker decided to stand up against it. He's the one that benefited from the early departure, the favourite earlier. So he's taken everything there was for it, really. So.
Well, they always say it's all about value, don't they? And I think, and it's funny enough, as even. Usually if I see it, you know, watching a race on television and something's 5-2 on, I think, well, I can't, you know, not interested in that. But if you see it in context, you know, a horse that's been winning, a winning machine this year, against a horse that hasn't run since for 6 years, won, and Dry Old Party, who, with the greatest respect, is probably past her best, really, 12 years old.
It tempted me to go back up there and empty my wallet.
If it wasn't empty already. So anyway, she's 1-3.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's gone a bit quiet up there now. But,
yeah.
But that one bookmaker, he's opened his shoulders. He's taken everybody's bet that wanted to be on it. He's probably amounted to about 600 quid. But now he's just hoping there can be a shock.
Well,
but
there's a bit of money floating around, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, people they still come with their betting money.
Amazing when the sun goes in, it gets quite chilly, isn't it? It's going to put my clothes back on. Thank you, Simon. Thank you. Simon's smiling there. And I'm sure that will be announced, but that phone and wallet has been... It wasn't mine, it's far too smart for mine. I don't keep my cards in my phone either. So let's have an update. It's in fact, Simon's been quite busy because he's been talking to a few bookmakers, and to prove it, let's see what he's been up to.
Right, Dave Spice betting on the forecast, Dave. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you very much, thank you. Yes.
30.
Yes, I'll take that.
So you're betting on the forecast, is that how it works?
Yeah, just 3 runners, so trying to do something a bit different. I've got first and second, or each horse to finish alone. Just trying to give the customers a bit more choice, a bit more sort of value, really. So.
And so you've got a good crowd here today. It's a shame about the runners.
It is a great shame. It's a really good crowd, lovely day. Just can't get the runners. Shame. Yeah.
Oh well, it's better than being in the factory.
True, very true, Simon, very true.
Thanks, Spice.
Thanks, Dave.
That was a fantastic coincidence. That was Dave Spicer, bookmaker, and it's his birthday today as well, because it's my birthday today, but he's probably a few decades younger than I am, but it's great. And it's great not to be in the Racing Post as a birthday as well. It's Charlie Mann's birthday today from memory, and Evan Williams as well. I think it's his birthday as well, so I don't think they'll be watching this afternoon. Probably got other things to do, racing at Hereford this afternoon. But if it's your birthday, if you're watching on pointingdc.co.uk, happy birthday to you as well. And it's been, generally it's clouded over a bit now, but it's been an absolutely glorious spring day. And the runners, there we are, that's to prove it. pointingdc.co.uk, go pointing. Watch all the action from the comfort of your home, and you can watch the replays for I think 48 hours. You can keep on watching it. I don't think I'll rush home to watch my performance, but you never know. It's unlikely. And the runners still heading round in the parade ring behind me, just looking out over the fabulous countryside behind me. You just get you're getting a pretty good view of exactly what I'm looking out towards. All the various tours, Cock's Tour, Pew Tour and Sheep's Tour, just to name 3 of them. I think the big one is Cock's Tour over to my just left of the picture there. But anyway, that's for another day. But just getting the leg up there in the red and yellow stripe, that's Chloe Emsley behind me. There she is. And she's riding Dry Old Party. I can't wait to see how Erdisland runs, returning up. Obviously, she had a lot of ability, but she must have had a problem or two. She's been off since October 2016, 6 years without racing. But in her day, and she's never jumped a fence. She's only raced over hurdles. But good luck to Erdisland and Ella Herbison, who is on board. See if there's anyone else left in the parade. Yeah, just going through shot there. That's Ella on Erdisland, trained by Christine Gray. And just having a good look at Erdisland in the parade ring, she looked pretty fit actually. She looked really nice, very well indeed. And there is the favourite Molyneux, running in the colours of Colin Tizard, and he's now going to be started favoured in his last 7 runs, and I think when he was 5-2 on, 2-5, he was the proverbial good thing. But I think even if I had the money, I don't think I'd be splashing it around like that. I quite like the thought of winning a lot for a little, but risking, I suppose it's sort of, it's like better than interest rates, which are quite low at the moment, although everything seems to be rising. Putting on, say, £500 to win 200, that sounds quite good. But losing 500 when the horse doesn't win doesn't sound so good. So maybe I think that's the sort of sensible me. I don't think there'd ever been a stage in my betting life when I'd bet like that. I've always liked to try and win a lot for a little. Anyway, the runner's going down to the start. I think the racing we've had today has been most enjoyable. We've certainly spoken to a lot of enthusiastic trainers, owners. Connected Gordon Edwards talking about his new racecourse, very interesting indeed. And there, going down is the favourite. Just going through a picture there is Molyneux, heading down to the start. And it's back to me again now, which is good. Well, it's maybe not so good for you, but we'll set the scene. And looking at they've been going off pretty well to time, so I think in about 4 minutes they'll be underway. And maybe they could have. I mean, it's great to see families here with children, pets. And well, that's about all really. I mean, and come here with picnics, and there are loads of cars, and they've been coming until a short time ago. They've been coming in with great regularity, and I just get a nod from Frank. It's a good turnout, isn't it, today?
Very good.
Yeah.
A lot of local people.
And a lot of local people have come here because it's a date that's set in the diary. They come here, they think, oh, it's Cherrybrook, we will go there. Come hell or high water. Unfortunately, it's neither hell or high water, but I'm afraid the lack of water means we haven't had that many runners. But it is what it is. They've tried their best, and well done to everyone who's running here today. It's fantastic. And as we heard from Aaron Butterfield in the last race, the ground was a bit on the quick side for his horse, but he thought, well, we'd just go round safely, and he's won. So if you're not in, you can't win. So here, I'm fully expecting to have egg on my face if Molyneux gets turned over, but I don't think he will. We can see a long-range shot down towards the start. It's a stunning setting here, really. It's what the exciting thing for me is coming to places I've never been to before, and every single course seems to have its different characteristics. Did I see a snowflake passing me by then? I can't believe it. We were basking in the sun a moment ago. It'd be very funny if we got torrential rain now and the ground ended up being good to soft by the end of the last race, but I don't think that's going to happen actually. But they've done their best. They watered, they were expecting rain, it didn't happen. The forecasters let everyone down. They've got all this incredible machinery to tell us what the weather's going to be like, and so often it's just doesn't turn out to be right. Anyway, we've got 3 runners for this DRB Cars Mixed Open. 250 quid to the winner, and I think that'll probably go. Colin Tizard, I think probably should be collecting. I hear the great man is here today, but Freddie Gingell, and I was there when he won his very first race back at Buckfastleigh on the 16th of January, I think it was. It was the 16th of January, and he's been favourite virtually every start every time he's appeared, and he's appeared with great regularity as well. So he's a horse that obviously takes his racing, loves his racing. He's won 4 of his 7 Point-To-Points, and it's been a prolific. I can hear Mark Dennis saying we're at post time, so very shortly we'll hand over to him. I'll have a slurp of very well deserved tea, and I hope we have an exciting finish. But I really think Molyneux is the proverbial good thing here. But I'll have my notional bet at 5-2 on, see whether I would. The flag is up. Anyway, here is Mark Dennis.
So they make their approach to the start line then, and the flag goes down quickly. So we're all underway then for this mixed open race. Just the 3 runners, and they race towards the first of their 18 fences, and Molyneux leads them towards it, jumps it nicely out in front, and Erdisland just landed in a bit of a pile, landed a little bit flat-footed back in 3rd. Dry Old Party a clear 2nd, around about a length and a half off the leader then. As they've taken the turn then, it brings them back towards us for the first time. Molyneux, partnered by Freddie Gingell. Freddie down from Somerset, where he's rides for his grandfather at the moment, Colin Tizard. As they cross the next then, 1 or 2 just parted the birch there, but they got away from it okay. So Freddie's had 6 winners this season, his first season point-to-pointing, and is hopefully off to join Paul Nicholls later in the year. Just down the road from where his grandfather trains, as they take fence number 3 then, and Molyneux really stood off that, jumped it beautifully. Now races left-handed to come into the home straight from Dry Old Party and Erdisland. Racing 2 and 3 then as they take on fence number 4 of the 18. Come to it now, and again they've all jumped that pretty well, and settle down now and set their sights on the big open ditch. Claimed 1 casualty this afternoon. So 3 runners now take on the ditch. Just under 2 circuits left to race. They're all over the ditch safely, and now race left-handed to head out into the country for the first time. Molyneux the 3-1 on favourite. Dry Old Party 3-1, and then Erdisland the 6-1 outsider of the trio then. As they continue out then, making the descent now into the dip. Molyneux looks to be racing quite keenly at the moment for Freddie Gingell, anxious to have his head as they've reached the bottom of the descent then and begin their climb up the far side. 2 plain fences to take in this part of the course. Comes to the first of them now. Again, they all jump it okay. Get away from it well, and quickly take on their second. Comes to it, and Molyneux just stood off that a little bit too much. Just went through the top of it, almost landed on the fence, but he got away from it okay. As they race left-handed then, and just about to pass their point of departure. Molyneux still racing keenly out in front. 2 lengths clear then of Dry Old Party, partnered by Chloe Emsley. Chloe works for Ed and Polly Walker up in the East Devon, and is part of the team that are getting Santini ready for the Grand National next week. Had a good schooling session at another yard back in the week, and they're very pleased with the progress of Santini, so hoping for big things next weekend. So they come to the next then, they're on the run back towards us, and they're all over that safely. Still Molyneux, gone on by about 3 lengths now to Dry Old Party. Erdisland is next, back in 3, partnered by Ella Herbison. She works for Philip Hobbs as an amateur. As they cross the next then, and they're all over that safely. And now begin their run left-handed to bring them into the bottom of the home straight and onwards towards another plain fence, which will be the final fence in a circuit's time. So Molyneux comes to it, jumps it well out in front, and makes a beautiful sight. Molyneux with his ears pricked and pointing his toe as he passes to judge them. Circuit left to race. Dry Old Party now just taking slightly closer order up on the outside of the favourite as they take the open ditch then, and they're over the ditch safely. And Erdisland just landed a little bit heavily after that, just knuckled slightly on landing, but they're all way for it well, and now heading out into the country for the final time then in this mixed open race. And they've got 6 fences left to jump then, so they head down the hill. So it's still Molyneux. Dry Old Party now up to within a half length of the lead, and they've gone clear of Erdisland by around about 10 lengths now as they climb up the far side then. It's still Molyneux, the odds-on favourite, takes the next, and they're running that safely. Erdisland just taking it now, still around a dozen lengths clear of the leading duo now as they cross the next. They're over that safely, all of them, and now left-handed to race across the top end of the course. So Molyneux, he's gone on by about 2 lengths now to Dry Old Party as they prepare to take this fence at the far side then. Molyneux and Freddie Gingle looking for his 7th win of the campaign. Made the trip all the way down to Trebudanon last week, but drew a blank then. And they now sweep left-handed to make their best of the way home for the final time in this mixed open, and racing towards the third last now. So 3 up comes up for Molyneux. He's gone around about a half length clear then of Dry Old Party, who's not given up yet and just closes up once more on the favourite. On the run to the second last, they're still well clear of Erdisland, back in 3. So 2 up coming up then for Molyneux. He comes to it, sails out over it, jumps it well. Dry Old Party now shaken up by Chloe Emsley as they round the turn that brings them into the home straight then. Final fence coming up then for Molyneux. 3 lengths clear, out over safely. And Dry Old Party just got a little bit tight to it, but Molyneux shaken up now on the run to the line. Punched out to the line, going to be quite an impressive winner. Winner number 7 of the campaign for Freddie Gingle. And Chloe Emsley finishes second on Dry Old Party, and Erdisland completes for third.
Remaining for declarations to close in the 6th race. 3 minutes remaining for declarations to close in the 6th race.
So the good thing has won. Molyneux has won yet again. What a fantastic season he's had. That's his 5th win from 9 starts, and he was runner-up in the other. And Freddie Gingle, grandson of Colin Tizard, what a horse to get experience on. And really, it was never really in doubt. I thought Dry Old Party put in a good effort to finish second. Erdisland, I don't think we could have expected much more from Erdisland, really, because she'd been off for so long. Hamir is leading up, we hear. We have all the facts here, and I can see Hamir in the distance. And indeed, he is leading up. You can see that. We've had a lot of buckets of water today, and water is in, well, it's in good supply for the horses. Unfortunately, not from the heavens onto the ground, which is just one of those things. But we could go on forever and ever about that. And we've got a walkover coming up in our next race, sadly, where the walkover, what do you call a walkover? A walkover is a river myth. But anyway, in the meantime, we'll obviously be speaking to people in between now and then. We can have a look at the replay of that victory, another victory by Molyneux, the favourite.
Molyneux, he's gone around about a half length clear then of Dry Old Party, who's not given up yet and just closes up once more on the favourite. On the run to the second last, they're still well clear of Ardis Land, back in 3. So 2 up, coming up then for Molyneux. He comes to it, sails out over it, jumps it well. Dry Old Party now shaken up by Chloe Emsley as they round the turn that brings them into the home straight then. Final fence coming up then for Molyneux. 3 lengths clear, out over safely. And Dry Old Party just got a little bit tight to it, but Molyneux shaken up now on the run to the line. Punched out to the line, going to be quite an impressive winner. Winner number 7 of the campaign for Freddie Gingle. And Chloe Emsley finishes second on Dry Old Party, and Ardis Land completes for third.
Declarations for the 6th race now closed. Declarations for the 6th race now closed.
Guess, we needn't even guess who I've been joined by, Colin Tizzer. I never thought I'd ever interview or talk to Colin at Cherrybrook Point-To-Point, but anyway, it's one of my, it's happened. You must be a very proud grandfather, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely delighted. Fred's done the pony racing and been at our stables ever since he was in his nappies and waiting for when he could go race riding. And, we got Molyneux. We couldn't win with him under rules for 2 years, the last 2 years, and he's come out and been brilliant this season. So he
really has. I mean, he's been. I was at Buckfastleigh when he won. That was Freddie's first win, wasn't it? Back in January, and since then he's run 7 or 8 times, and never finished down to the first 2.
No, he quite simple really. We think he's the schoolmaster. As long as he seems right on the Friday, we'll run him again. That's our.
He must take his racing really well.
Well,
he's running virtually every week.
He's a King's Theatre, and he's not a big horse, and he's just in a good vein of form at the moment. So we'll keep going you know, it's not like having top professionals on, because they have a harder race. You know, they finish second or third. Fred, you know, today he hasn't had a hard race really, and if he's fine next week, he can go again.
And how bright does the future look for Freddie as far as, you know, taking on the big boys?
Well, we've got to steady him up a bit.
Because how old is he?
16.
16, so it's very early days,
Yeah,
isn't
so
it?
he started on the 2nd of January, and that's 9 winners, and that's all he ever wanted to do, and that's all ever he wants to do now.
But he looks pretty. I mean, pony racing is so wonderful because it really, you know, it sort of sets the standard, doesn't it? I mean, it's a great experience.
Yeah, prepares them for race riding.
Yeah.
In a race, you're never always in where you think you're going to be, or where you hope to be. And pony racing sorts all that out, getting squeezed up on a bend and everything.
Has there always been pony racing? Was there pony in Joe's day when he was?
No, Joe. I think Joe rode in one pony race. That was down Wincanton Car Park on a white
So did
fluffy
he start
one.
in point-to-points then before?
Yeah, Fred. Yeah, Joe went straight into point-to-points. That's the first race he had, was in a point-to-point. But Fred's, you know, he's had 60 odd winners in pony racing, so he's had a very good grounding.
Fantastic. And Molyneux, won a couple. I mean, won over fences and over hurdles for you, didn't he?
Yes, but John and Heather Snook owned him, and he's never really achieved what we hoped he did. But he's found his niche now. It's we couldn't find a better schoolmaster.
And he'd have he's 11. He's still got a few seasons ahead of him, isn't he?
Well, we hope so. We can have this year. Hopefully, we can tie Fred's legs together so he can't go conditional or anything silly like that. And have another year point-to-point in, I hope. And there.
Racing, I think point-to-point shows what a great sport racing is, because you see it from all levels. Here we are at sort of grassroots level, when the ground is horribly dry, which is just one of those unfortunate things, isn't it? And well, you know, sporting view to run, it's great on this fast ground.
You know, when we first got here, we didn't think we were going to run, and then we walked it, and then we came back. So well, possibly. And after the second race, he went by, and they were making a good print. So we thought it was safe enough. You know, it sounds quite good. It doesn't sound rattly either. In the end, they've done quite a good job in the end.
I walked it, which I thought, you know, doing my homework sort of thing. It's a good course actually, isn't it?
Yes, it's lovely fun. You don't realise what pleasure you can get from it with your own children or your grandchildren, and this is just pleasure, really.
I find my interest in racing probably started with point-to-points. I used to go with my parents every Saturday when I was 7 or 8 years old, and seeing, you know, familiar, same old faces every weekend, same horses. And I think sort of familiarity does sort of encourage you, doesn't it? You see the same people.
It's lovely. It's all down to, I think everyone likes to see a young boy coming through, don't they? And you see, you know, there's the semi-professional Will Biddicks, and there's Point-to-Point's got everything really, and brings on a lot of good horses. You know, we brightened up that Rose of Arcadia. Just gave her 2 point-to-points, and she really got her enthusiasm back, and we might run a few more next year. They know they've opened up the season. You can do it a bit more and just give them a bit more fun, then go back to the big game.
And how's the winter gone for you? Much better than last year. Much
better. Last year was, whatever we done.
You're always going to have a bad year every now and again.
Yeah, well, I suppose we were a bit cushioned because always before, we had the likes of Q-Card and Thistlecrack and Native River and a host more really. Yeah. But last year, for 2 or 3 weeks they run well, and you think we're through it, then they start running ordinary again.
Yeah.
But this year, it's not without trying. We done more work last year and the summer, putting stuff in the fields and help the grass and all that.
And it's great. And it's great to see Brendan riding a few winners as well.
He's a good rider. Cool is cool, and Brendan was our jockey. He came there and pushed Joe into retirement, really. Then it started drying up a bit for Brendan. And after he had a winner at Cheltenham a couple of years ago, I went up to him and said, I may have been a bit hard on you, Brendan, but if you want to come back riding out again, please come back. So he was in the next morning, and
fantastic.
Hasn't looked back since.
Great to talk to you, Colin. I think it was a presentation there waiting. Frank's about to give you an enormous trophy or something. Nice to talk to you. I hope Aintree goes well for you.
Lovely. Looking
Thank you.
forward to it.
Colin Tizard, great to talk to him. And the presentation is, there we are, there's Frank Yeo, one of the great presenters of all time. About to make the presentation. I can't remember how he pronounced it now. Was it Gingell? He said. It's soft G's, I think. Gingell. It's Gingell. You asked someone, I asked Colin just a moment ago, how do you pronounce it? He told me. Of course, it goes straight through one ear and out the other, but I think it was Gingell. That's what I'm going to go from now on. I'll just call him Fred. But the presentation is taking place, as you can see, with Freddie on the left and Colin on the right. And who'd be in the middle? I'm not sure. I'm just going to pause and have a slurp of water, actually. And having spoken to senior Colin Tizard, grandson Fred is here. Fantastic. He was singing, your ears were burning. But we were talking, well done today. I'm Molyneux. What a marvellous horse he's been this year.
Yeah, he is. He's been a very good horse this season. I think he's gave me four or five winners now.
So much has happened, because I was at Buckfastleigh back in, it's only a few months ago, 16th of January it was.
Was it? Oh.
Yeah, and that was your first winner. But it must give you so much confidence, really. I mean, I know you've ridden loads of pony winners, but, you know, riding a horse like here must be fantastic.
Yeah, it's very fantastic, really. Like riding always pony race winners, like, it's nowhere near the same as this sort of thing. So, giving that my first winner back in 16th of January, it gave me so much more confidence and making me a better rider from it.
What does because pony racing is seen as a benefit for all up and coming young riders. What's the main thing it gives you? Because it's a very different sort of discipline. Is it just the competition?
Yeah, it's experienced pony racing, like everything's done properly, if you know what I mean.
And you're positioning yourself in race riding and tactics.
Like when we go out to ride, we always try and get the best position. Like in pony racing, pony racing teaches you. Like if you don't do something quite right and you come second, you'll be hitting yourself because you didn't do that.
How many
right.
winners did you ride in pony? Loads.
I think 56. I think it was
50. The McCoy of pony racing, really.
Counted.
But we got, a lot of young jockeys coming through. There's Harry Davis, who's riding on the flat this year.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of experience in pony races too, didn't he? And
he did.
And he looks already. I don't know how old he is. Not much older than you, Rick.
I think he's a year older than me.
A year older than you, but he looks really polished, really.
Yeah, he
and
does.
That's really thanks to
pony racing. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as the future goes, jump jockey is the aim.
Yeah, hopefully. And it's like first season, like amateur, really under rules. I'm having a few rides here and there. Hopefully next season try and step up a bit and ride hopefully more racing, and hopefully try and be a better person from it almost.
And having the advice of your uncle Joe, who rode at the highest level and was one of the best around, that must be jolly helpful too. Is he helpful?
Yeah, he is. After in a minute I'll go back and ring him and we'll just talk through it, sort of thing. win, lose or draw, we always talk through it. He says, like, do this, like, try and polish on this and this and this.
And that's another thing that's happened over the years, because now every jockey has a jockey coach, don't they? Really,
yeah.
Which I suppose he is yours really at the moment.
Yeah, he is. Like,
when you've got someone to actually talk you through, saying, no, you should have done this or done that or whatever.
Yeah, Joe is that person for me, sort of thing. I'm very lucky to have Roddy Green as well.
He coaches quite a few jockeys,
yeah, he does.
doesn't he?
He helps me out with my finishing and my looking. And my looking stylish and compared to other jockeys, sort of thing. So that helps. Well, both of them help, like really good, really.
And is Molyneux a pretty good conveyance as far as getting experience? He seems to, he just seems to do it all very naturally.
Yeah, he does. Like under rules, he never looked too impressive, but now he's come point and he looks like very impressive. And think
it's extraordinary how he's just. Do you think? I mean, do you think genuinely he's a better horse now pointing than he was when he was running under rules?
Yeah, definitely. I think. Under rules, I think he's getting a bit bored of it almost.
Yeah.
Like going to races and like being second and or like pulling up. Say, like he never really done him much confidence, but coming point in, he's like a full handful the whole race, and I think he just enjoys me sat on him.
I mean, he runs virtually every. I mean, if you think your first winner was on him was on the 16th of January, and he's run about 7 or 8 times since then.
Yeah, he has.
So he'll be out again soon, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's there for me to get experience and. I'm going for the championship at the moment. I'm joint. I might have now just gone one up.
So who's your nearest rival?
Freddie Gordon. He's pretty much, if I have a winner, he has a winner, sort of thing. So we're always like tossing and turning for number 1 spot. But hopefully it all goes well this season.
Well, it seems to be going pretty well, and it's great to see. I think it's great coming point-to-pointing, seeing young, riders coming up. We had. I spoke to Daisy White a bit earlier, and she. I thought she gave her. She was second. Her horse a really good ride, and she also got experience in pony racing.
Yeah, like definitely. Most young jockeys now have all come from pony racing. So it's doing pony racing a massive thing. Like seeing, like people like me just coming through and doing well, really.
Well, it's fantastic, and you're doing very well and carrying on the family tradition. Long may it last. Very nice to talk to you, Fred.
Thank you.
Well done today.
Thank you.
Fantastic. And Freddie Gingell talking to us. Mark Trenier, who is the chairman of Fleet Park Races. He's bred horses. He's bred jockeys. You've done quite a few things, haven't you?
Well, one or two, and some better than others.
Let's talk about the Fleet Park.
We're very much looking forward.
Can you just your bit?
We're very much looking forward to having everybody back at Fleet this year. We ran behind closed doors both meetings last year.
That must have been a most extraordinary experience, wasn't it?
It was. It was extraordinary because we're so used to having a very good atmosphere at Fleet, and the car park's absolutely.
Well, if you
rammed.
think today, I mean, sadly there are very, very few runners, but as far as you can see, there are cars. You can hear the happy laughter of. It's just a great day out, isn't it?
That's point-to-pointing for you, and that's point-to-pointing people.
Where did that all start with for you at a very young age?
A long time ago. I think it was 20 years ago that I finished. Same season that Will Biddick started, so that rather dates me. Finished on crutches.
I was about to say one great rider handing over to him. Did you have a certain amount of success?
Some.
And a lot of fun.
Oh, a huge amount of fun. Finishing up on crutches, my wife told me that if I went down to the start of another point-to-point, it would be divorce. So however bad things got...
She's still around?
She's still around.
Thank goodness for that. So you saw the light. And did you have some nice horses to ride? They were your own horses, were they?
Yeah, they've been... I bought a couple, but my late father-in-law bred them. We're on the, I think, 5th or 6th generation, going back to a mare that he bought in Ireland, or Ryan Price recommended to him in 1963 or 65, something like that. So we're on the 5th or 6th generation. We've got a couple of 4-year-old fillies, but neither of the boys can do the weight. And as I say,
And one of your boys was riding today.
Yep, one was riding today. He's got another one later on, which everybody will say, well, the horse carries its head slightly strangely, but that's because he's tanking so hard.
Absolutely. So Fleet Park is when? How long have you got?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
There's the 16th of April and the 30th of April.
You got two close together.
Yep. We always
and you
run.
get the same. I mean, it's a day out for the family, but obviously, it's a day out. But people, I mean, it could be quite an expensive business going for a family. Do you get the same people coming back?
Yes, we do, and we've always tried to encourage people to come back. We're very fortunate, being quite close to Plymouth, that we get a large Plymouth crowd. And
it's a very popular spectator sport, which is great, which is carried on for generations after generations. I mean, it's always been very popular as a family occasion.
Oh, it's a great day out for people.
It is a great day out,
and they can have their picnics at Fleet, and hopefully the weather will be nice. And
well, let's hope you have rain before, a fine day, and then rain again after. And
we've covered the eventualities in terms of having the waterings ready to go. We've harrowed and rolled the course. The clerk of the course, Lawrence Glanville's done a cracking job, as he always does. The fences are being trimmed up tomorrow. So we're all systems go, really.
Well, very good luck. Very nice to talk to you. And
Thank
fingers
you.
crossed that everything goes well. Thank you very much for coming along. Or being dragged along, probably. Thumbs up. Now I'm reading my cue card here. Lots of ex-pony racers here today, including Walter Barnett. Oh yes, you were the man, Walter, who got a David Nicholson Award well, you were nominated for a David Nicholson Award.
Yeah.
Just going to put you near the microphone there. To be nominated, I know to win is great, but to be nominated is a great honour, isn't it?
Yeah, very much appreciated being recognised for all that. Yeah.
So what did you think you've done to be nominated?
Well, I suppose what my mum had told me to do, just make sure I work hard, and then I think it might have been recognised by my head lad at Paul Nicholls.
So you work for Paul Nicholls?
Yes.
But that must be sort of an education in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great experience working there. I learn a lot.
I mean, there are so many. I mean, how many are there in the yard? Is it one yard he has, or is there other?
I suppose you'd say there's two main ones.
Yeah.
And then there's lots of other places he puts horses to, like, give them a bit of.
I know when you arrive, there used to be sort of Millionaires Row where all the stars used to be.
Yeah.
Is that still the case?
The front yard up at the top.
It was a shame that the weather all went wrong for Brave Man's Game at Cheltenham. But I suppose that I saw him when he won his first race at Newton Abbot.
Yeah.
And I know that Paul thought he was a star then.
Oh yeah.
And I think he's the one to beat him at King George, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Come Christmas.
Yeah, looking forward to his next season.
So that keeps you pretty busy. So pony racing was part of your life?
Yeah, I did that for a few years. And that was good fun. Made lots of friends. And,
I bet. I mean, did you and with a certain amount of success as well?
Yeah, I had the one winner. That was a great day.
So you've got to keep your head down and get nominated again and then win next time.
Yeah, hopefully go one better.
But I mean, how many were nominated in the end? So you're sort of a winner anyway to be nominated, aren't you?
Yeah, I think I did quite well to do that. I was pleased to, because I made the final 10.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's very good indeed.
That was good.
And your mother bred thoroughbred horses as well, is that right?
Well, yeah, she put a Dartmoor pony with a thoroughbred stallion, and then that gave us our pony races.
And that worked well?
Yeah, they did the job.
Is that a known route to success or not? Or did she just...
Yeah, it's probably a bit unique.
But she rode a bit, didn't she?
Yeah, as a point-to-point jockey. Yeah, so that's where our interest came from.
So did you used to, as a child, go and watch her riding or not?
Very young. I don't actually remember.
You don't?
When I was very young, I would have gone along.
Fantastic. So it's very much it's like a lot of with racing, it's in the blood, really, isn't it?
Mm.
Well, great. So you'll be working hard tomorrow morning?
Yeah, back at work tomorrow.
What time do you start in the morning?
6:30 start.
Well, now it's light in the morning. I don't feel so sorry for you.
No, it's all right now.
But in sort of January, it must be quite.
Yeah, it's quite hard to get out of
bed. But you're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
And your sister is at Paul Nicholls as well, is that right?
Yeah, she just joined before Christmas.
So she come through the pony racing route as well, or not?
She did, yeah. She had a go at that, and on our ponies.
Did she do okay?
She didn't.
Did you get on well with her?
Yeah, it's not bad working with her. Not as bad as I thought it'd be.
Brothers and sisters do.
Yeah.
Bit of disagreement every now and again.
Yeah. It's alright because I don't have to live with her anymore. So
well, in a way, I know it's sad in a way, I suppose, but you'll always be good friends anyway.
Yeah.
But let's end on a happy note.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Very nice to talk to you, and good luck. Hope
you.
things go well at Aintree. Brilliant. So, what's going on now? We've got a walkover, haven't we? River Myth. It's about to happen now. It's going to the start. Here comes my wheelbarrow. There's been a raffle for. You can see that wheelbarrow there full. I think you win the whole lot, do you?
Yeah, number 7.
Sadly, I just hope ticket number 1 doesn't come out because I've lost my ticket, but I know it was number 1. So I think the likelihood of winning a raffle is very remote. I don't think I'm unravelling a bit of paper as I speak now, but I think it's a bit of a polo wrapper. So I've misplaced my ticket, so I hope someone else more deserving wins. We've got. What are we going to look? Oh, he's walked over already. He's come back. Darren Andrews won without us even seeing it. So well done to that's another winner for Darren Andrews, isn't it? We can give you the official result for race 4. I found my ticket actually. I must have chewed it up. I don't know how it's become like that. Here's race 4, and we heard from the winning trainer, jockey, everyone apart from the horse actually. I thought Dry Old Party ran well in second, but Molyneux was the winner, returned about 3-1 on in the end, beating Dry Old Party second, and Erdisland and Ella Herbison finishing in third place, 6 lengths and a length. And 3 ran, and it's great, but they all went a good sensible pace, and they all finished happily ever after. It's amazing how the climate has changed here, because an hour ago I might even go and get another coat in the end, put on all the layers, because once the sun's gone in, and I don't think it'll be returning, just the odd spot of rain every now and again, it gets quite chilly. But our next race is the 4:35. Do we know the runners for the 4:35? We'll find out soon enough. There were 4 entered. We have got them for you. So let's have a look at the runners. This is the Molly Malone restricted race. We've got a race. We've got 2. The horse, which I'm longing to hear Mark Dennis's pronunciation, Eau de Regard, whose main and only rival will be number 2, Reflex Action, Darren Edwards, trained by Paul Nicholas, and I think Deborah Trenier on my race card. I think she trains the top one. There's one wearing a hood I've written here, and there's one from 15 in Point-To-Points, and Reflex Action has won from 8 in Point-To-Points, so they could be quite well matched really. So that's to look forward to. That's at 4:35, round about just over half an hour away, and no doubt the 2 runners will be appearing in the parade ring quite soon. I've forgotten his name.
Barnaby.
Oh, it's Barnaby. That was his dad I was speaking to. Barnaby, that's right. He had a ride out. Barnaby Trenier is the one. And we've got the excitement of the raffle. I imagine you watching at home will probably feel a bit left out, but there it is. But if I heard the number 1 called, I thought it might have been the winning raffle number, but it wasn't. It was number 1 on the race card for EL d'un Regard. Anyway, just a period of just pause while the runners come into the parade ring. Simon, he's been pretty busy actually talking to bookmakers. He does that well, and we can pop back and rejoin Simon.
Shall I just blank it?
No.
Right. Barry, we all know you've got loads of mates.
Well, not so many today, because unfortunately there hasn't been any runners here. Bit sad, really, because it's a beautiful place. I don't know if you've ever been to Tavistock, or on the top of the hill here, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Unfortunately today, there's 15 declared for the maiden, and only 1 turned out. And for the rest of the afternoon, we've been trying to get perhaps the dogs to race or something, I don't know, but it's been very, very disappointing. But if you're at home, you're at home. But you want to come racing, because going racing makes you feel good, even on a disappointing day like today. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the draw of the wheelbarrow hamper. And the owner of the winning horse in the last race, Terry Hamlin, long been one of our senior stewards at Cherrybrook over many, many years. Terry's going to make the draw for the hamper. And the number is, lucky for some, number 13. On the green. 13 on the green. And the lucky winner is with us. Malcolm Humphreys from Columpton. Congratulations, well done. Well, I'd just like to thank everyone who bought a draw prize or a ticket, and to everyone who donated the bottles in the wheel this afternoon. Thank you very much.
Attention please, horse number 1 to the paddock immediately. Thank you. Horse number 1, thank you.
as you may see behind me, are 2 runners for the next race, the Molly Malone restricted race, our 6th of 7 races. And I'm delighted to say we've got a race in the last race as well. So I know walkovers aren't ideal, but we've only had 2 walkovers. It did look as if it might be, we might have a few more. But anyway, we've got 2, and they're both in the parade ring here for this 6th race of our 7-race card, sponsored by Olivia Tatton Brown and the Kirkwood family. So good for them. And the 2 runners, there are only 4 entered, and we'll get to see them coming towards me with the noseband. Is number 1, Éole d'un Regard, who has one wearing a hood. I didn't think there was any sign. He has got a hood on. Yeah, I think he's probably got a hood on today, which is what he likes. And his general form, he's ridden by Barnaby Trenier, pulled up last time in his last run, pulled up 2 out at Lark Hill at the end of February, and he won. His last win was round about this time. Maybe he's just a spring horse, won last May. No, last win was in May 2019, so that's going back quite a long way. But today he might have a good opportunity, but whether he'll beat Reflex Action, we'll have a look. Just coming towards us there, number 2, you can see there, just standing still at the moment, is Reflex Action, who's trained by Paul Nicholas and ridden by Darren Edwards. Spoken to Darren's dad Gordon a bit earlier. I always like having a chat to Darren, actually. Darren Edwards is about 10 wins this season, yeah, give or take a few, and he's ridden, guess how many winners he's ridden in his career? Yes, around about 300 in his career. And he's a great character. I always like talking to him, so I think this might be another winner for him. And I think probably Reflex Action will be a pretty short price favourite. He beat 3 runs ago. He beat at Milbourne. He beat Gunner Vic. Will Biddick was on him then, and then he was 2nd in the restricted at the same course. Usually, I mean, a lot of them like slightly softer ground, but he's been in good form. His form figures this season, 3rd, 1st, 3rd and 2nd, look pretty good really. He's won one of his 8 point-to-points, but he's been placed on several occasions, and he was 2-1 on favourite last time, and he got beaten 4 lengths actually by a horse called Don't Ask Us, who's trained by Keith Cummings and was ridden by Josh Newman. And the Trenier, they're old family colours apparently. Where are they? I want to see them. They're not the famous green and gold striped cap colours. They are. I can see them there in the middle of the parade ring. There we are. On the right of your screen. The colours that have been carried by the Trenier family for centuries, decades, a long time. And the sun's come out. It's amazing. The temperature rallies when the sun comes out. No end. Anyway, I'm waffling a bit. I'm feeling a little hoarse actually in the racing vernacular, having done far too much talking this afternoon. But I've had some interesting people to talk to, which has been a joy really, and it's great. I've really genuinely enjoyed today. Walked the course early on, saw the cars streaming in. I can still hear the happy buzz of point-to-pointers here today. They're not sort of punters, you can't really call them punters, but just sort of families on a day out. And I wonder whether the Mr. Whippy van's been doing good action. The next week's point-to-point, if you're interested, is at Dunsmore. That's on the 10th of April, and that's near Exeter. So you'll have to go there. No live streaming, I'm afraid. Boo. But boo. Why? I don't know why. It awakes awareness. Anyway, each to their own. Coming towards us in the red colours, that's Darren Edwards, the unmistakable figure of Darren Edwards on reflex action, looking confident. He's a rider, 300 winners or more over the years, and comes here in good form. And those are the old family Trenier colours. They're good colours to have as well. They look as if they've been seen over the years. It's like all these sometimes racing colours just disappear out of circulations. I always remember the old Jim Joel colours, black with a red cap. He used to have loads of horses, and when old Mr. Joel died, I don't think they were carried on. Maybe they sometimes have auctions of silks, so you can buy them. One of my favourite trainers of yesteryear, which is a marvellous woman, Norma Macaulay, she used to have her own colours, and they were white with green spots and a red cap, I think. And now they run in the colours of a Likely Lads, because I think one of Norma's sons kept on the colours. So you get the perpetual motion of racing silks. It's all part of a tradition, really. Anyway, we've got the Trenier colours carried by Eole de Regard, who pulled up last time, but has some quite good form in the book. Won a 2.5 mile maiden some time back. There's one wearing a hood and wears a hood today, and is ridden by Barnaby Trenier, and is number 1 on the card. And there they are. There's one. Well, that's one of them. The red colours. That's Reflex Action and Darren Edwards. But it's great. We'll see the fences jumped. I mean, a walkover is always disappointing for everyone, for the sponsors of the race, for the actual race goers here. You want to see some sort of contest, even if it's two horses. It only takes 2 to make a race, and you can get some pretty good action. And the bookmakers down to my right have been doing quite lively business, betting on the distance, whether a horse will finish alone. I remember from my childhood, it isn't just a recent phenomenon, but you get small fields. I remember walkovers and 2-runner races in my childhood, going point-to-pointing in East Anglia, when there used to be quite a lot of courses in East Anglia. There are hardly, I think in Essex there's only High Easter now, just over the border in Suffolk there's Higham. That's been going for years and years and years. But anyway, the runners down at the start, they go slightly out of view. That's why you're looking at my smiling features before we go back for the race, which is just a few minutes away now, but we'll have a look. That's better. I'd rather see 5 trees, and looking at the tors in the distance, Cock's Tor, Pew Tor and Sheep's Tor, to name just 3. And the one away to the left, I think that's the main one. That's Cock's Tor. But it's fantastic. You couldn't design a fantastic backdrop, really. Of all the national hunt courses, I always think the most picturesque one, scenery wise, is Hexham. Hexham is fantastic on a nice day when you see the hills beyond, just south of Hadrian's Wall. And here, for the south of England, this is the equivalent for me. I've seldom seen such a fantastic backdrop with the whole summer in front of us, on an early-ish spring afternoon. We're sort of midway through spring now. Had a temporary halt with the cold weather, but it's been it's been absolutely perfect today, absolutely ideal racing weather. So the runners are at the start. I think the countdown to the flag being raised must have almost started. I think we're only a couple of minutes away. You might be wondering what's happened to Simon Knott, because usually he comes with betting updates and everything like that, but he's completely vanished off the face of the earth, which is but I'm pretty sure that Reflex Action will be a very, very short priced favourite to win this race, with Darren Edwards. And there we can see them in the distance. Well, not the sort of middle distance there. You can just see them lurking behind the trees, because the start, I know about these things, I've walked the course. You saw the far, if you imagine a rectangle, which of course isn't, but is going anti-clockwise, it's at the far right hand corner, the start. And the starter, incidentally, is Sheep's Tour. Well, I've been mentioning Sheep's Tour a lot, and Steven Spielberg, I think he filmed quite a lot of Warhorse over there, and at Cox Tour and Pew Tour as well. So I wondered if Spielberg actually come down here. He must have done. He sat on the hill with his sort of fingers the way that film directors do, thinking, this is where I'm going to film a bit of Warhorse. Mind you, there are so many effects now in films, and Spielberg has just done a fantastic job on West Side Story at the Oscars. The Oscars were we've had no slapping here today yet. It might become a sort of a standard thing, but I think Will Smith, well, he's resigned from the whoever he belonged to, the cinema, I forget. Anyway, the flags are up. No more about it. I've exhausted my film knowledge. Here's Mark.
Two runners, just the two that step away from the start then and head up towards the first of their 18 fences, and Reflex Action was the one that led them out over, and has gone 4 lengths clear then of You'll Done Regard as they turn to come back aside the course and back towards us. Reflex Action, partnered by one of the elder statesmen of the weighing room, Mr. Darren Edwards. Darren been riding Point of Points for 21 years now, as they prepare now for fence number 2. And a very slow jump there by the leader. Jumped it very deliberately. You'll Done Regard now up to within a couple of lengths of the lead then. Darren's ridden over 300 winners in his career. Started back in the foot and mouth year of 2001, as they prepare then for fence number 3, and they both sailed over that one well, and now begin the turn left-handed to come back towards us. Reflex Action, the 3-1 on favourite when I was at the bookmakers. Things may have changed, but I doubt it, to score in this restricted. You'll Done Regard, just a 5-4 on chance. So they now race past this then, and past the judge then en route to the open ditch for the first time. You'll Done Regard just looks to be anxious to go a little bit quicker. They've gone no gallop from the start at all. Reflex Action, both over the ditch okay. Now race left-handed to head out in the what is now glorious sunshine here at Cherrybrook. Head out into the country for the first time, and as I've mentioned previously, no great pace on at the moment. And begin the descent down over the hill. So Reflex Action, been in the frame for 4 runs this season. Had a winner on his third previous start. So they race up the far side then. 2 plain fences come up in quick succession in this part of the course, and they're both over that safely. As I said, Yule Underguard, just in the slipstream of the leader. Barnaby Trenier's determined to make Reflex Action do the hard way from the front. Darren Edwards not keen to overstretch Reflex Action in these early stages. One circuit complete them as they race past their point of departure then and up to the fence at the far end. So they race to it now. They jump and land it both okay. Now race left-handed. Barnaby Trenier partnering Yule Regard. Based in London during the week, training to be an accountant with KPMG. It's been up there 18 months and comes back at the weekends to go hunting and pointing. Has ridden 3 career wins in his time. And on the second favourite here. And they now race down to what will be the second last in a circuit's time. So Reflex Action by about 3 lengths again to Dual Run Regard. Come to it, and Reflex Action again was a little bit sticky at that. Just jumped it very carefully, but lost a little bit of time, as opposed to Yule Regard, who's still Barnaby Trenier hard up with the handbrake at the moment as they cross the next. That'll be the final fence in the circuit's time. So they now prepare then to pass the judge, and Yule Regard has just pulled his way up into the lead then. Just goes on now by a 1.5. First time that Reflex Action has been headed. Yule Regard now goes on by about 3, maybe 4 lengths. So they head out into the country fence for the final time. And just a word, ladies and gentlemen, on this afternoon's action. It's been a little bit unfortunate that the runners have been a little bit sparse. Main reason, I think, I'll be correct in saying that horses take a lot of time, energy and money to train, and sometimes nature dries out the ground a little bit quicker than other times, and this is the case today. The ground has dried very quickly indeed, and it's been a bit of a job to try and water it and get the ground back to a consistency that's favourable to jumping fences. So a lot of people have decided to back off and not run. But anyway, up front, Yule Regard got a lead now. He's pulled clear by around about 7 lengths to Reflex Action. Can't say that Darren Edwards is exactly panicking at the moment. Yule Regard jumped that really well. The Reflex Action now, Darren Edwards has just begun to shake the reins now, and is just marginally reducing the deficit on the favourite. So they race down towards the third last now. Dual Regard is on the outside now of Reflex Action. As they come to 3 out then, they jump and land together. Reflex Action just took a small chance with that. Darren Edwards sat back, but he's now regained the lead and goes on by 3-4 lengths now to Yule Regard as they take on this second last then. 2 out over, and Reflex Action 4 lengths clear. Punched out now by Darren Edwards, and has creased his lead now up to about 7 or 8 lengths. And the only dangers do look to be in front at the moment for Reflex Action. Jumped that really well now, and it's punched out to the line. It's going to score like a 3-1 on chance, should, and will be eased down from Yule Regard, who finishes in second.
And the hot favourite wins, Reflex Action with Darren Edwards. I must say the runner-up, he's finished. Well done to Barnaby Trenier. Yule Regard was a little bit of a wild beast to ride for much of that race. So well done for staying on board. Reflex Action has won as expected, really. Another winner for Darren Edwards, who's been on the go riding point-to-point winners for I think about 21 years or something like that. He's ridden over 300 winners or round about that mark, and Reflex Action wins again this season, won 3 runs ago. And we can have a look to see how he did it again when he was galvanised into winning action by Darren Edwards.
Be in front at the moment for Reflex Action. Jumped up really well now, and it's punched out to the line. It's going to score like a 3-1 on chance, should, and will be eased down from You'll Run Regard, who finishes in second.
Ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the 7th race, the Spooners and West Dartmoor Hunt members, subscribers and farmers race. Again, 2 horses entered here, numbers 1 and 4. Number 1, Bingo de Olivet, owned by Mrs. Jenny Luscombe and ridden by Jay Bammond. This horse is riding in a hood. And 4 is Star Walker, owned and ridden by Mr. J. Cole. They're the 2 runners and riders for the Spooners and West Dartmoor Hunt members race, 1 and 4.
There behind me, the winner and the second, El de Regard. Difficult one to say, that one, really, but Reflex Action won pretty nicely for Darren Edwards. With any luck, we'll have a word with him. We've got only 1 race to come. The afternoon, considering I thought it might be quite a long afternoon with a lot of walkovers, has gone, I think, pretty smartly. One of my old favourites, Bingo d'Olivate, runs in the last race, Gordon Chambers' horse, and faces Star Walker. There were 4, so we've got a 50% take up there. There were 4 entries, and 2 runners, so it's rather the same as this, 50% all round, really. Just a pity there weren't more entries in the first place, but the fast ground has put pay to that, unfortunately, which is just one of those things, really. So let's give you the official results of that last race. First, number 2, Reflex Action, ridden by Darren Edwards. Second was number 1. It's the last time I'm going to have to say it today. El de Regard, ridden by Barnaby Trenier, finishing second. 12 lengths, the winning margin. Winning time was a bit slower than some of the other races, 6 minutes 48, but I think they went quite a steady pace in this 2-runner race. And let's check the 2 runners in the finale. The 11-year-old Bingo d'Olivate is number 1, and number 4, Star Walker, Jimmy Cole on board, is his sole rival, number 4. So two going in the last. Didn't give you the jockey. Jake Bayman rides Bingo d'Olivate for Gordon Chambers. And Jimmy Cole, who's on the verge of retirement, I hear. Is that true? No, he's not. No, he's not. I don't want to. One day he will, but not for a while.
Barrowful Boots. Thank you very much for everybody.
Here he comes. I can say welcome back to Paul Nicholas, because we spoke at Chipley the other day, didn't we? What did one at Chipley that we spoke about?
Marlborough.
Oh, that's right.
Chestnut horse.
What's happened to him since?
He had a good second at Badbury Rings, behind his own star, who's won 3 on the bench now. It was a good race.
And how's the point-to-point season been for you this this year?
Fine, really. They've both been competitive all the way through, and this chap's holding his form fine. The other horse would obviously like a lot more juice in the ground. So whether he comes again is another
But
story.
Reflex Action, I mean, considering, I mean, he's run, what, 5 times, never been out of the money.
That's right, yeah.
Won twice.
Yep.
And he's given a good ride by good old Darren.
Yeah, you need a bit of wisdom on him, because he wouldn't be straightforward. But he has learned a lot this season.
I think he was slightly more straightforward than his only rival today, wasn't he?
Was that about it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Better the
So
devil
will you
know.
keep him on the go for the remaining
he does
weeks?
He does like the faster ground. I know everybody sort of tends to shy away from it, but some horses do appreciate it. And I rode him yesterday on some fast ground, and I just couldn't believe how well he was going.
Really?
You know, he just.
And has he shown good form on much softer ground as well?
He does struggle. Like his jumping isn't great sometimes at a slower pace, and the sticky ground, he does find it difficult to get his feet out of the ground sometimes.
Well, I mean, he flew the last, didn't he?
With a bit of pace, he jumps far better. With a bit of concentration.
That's often the way. The faster they go,
Yeah.
probably the better he jumps.
That was a little bit of the problem at Melbourne last time when he got turned over there. It was a bit of a tactical race.
He was second there, wasn't he?
Second out of 3 there. But,
was he favourite that day as well?
Yeah,
he was. But he must be he's only 7 years old. There's probably, you know, he's got a bit ahead of him.
We would hope so, yeah. Yeah. We would. We'll campaign him until he loses his edge. But he's never been better than he is at the moment.
But it's a shame about. I mean, I think it's been a terrific turnout today. It's just a shame that there are a few runners. But on the plus side, I thought we might have. There were a lot of gloomy faces early on. We might have a few walkovers, but we've had 2. But we've had 5, I think, pretty entertaining races, really.
That's the nature of the sport, isn't it? When it comes this hard or this dry, this quick.
And who knows? Next week it might bucket down.
Yeah.
So would you run him again pretty soon? Do you think? If all is well?
He'll be penciled in for a keeper's condition race at Trebidana in 2 weeks' time.
Well, he must be a great fun horse to have.
Keeps me young anyway.
Well, there you are. You get younger with every winner. Well done, Paul.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Very good luck to Paul Nicholas. He must have had a good season, having spoken to him at Chipley when he had a winner there, and another one here with Reflex Action. And I hope within moments we might be speaking to. There's a presentation going on over my shoulder. You can see the rear of Darren Edwards' head. Presentation's just taking place. Just watch that.
And this was sponsored by the Kirkwood family and Olivia Tatton-Brown, and they're presenting the prize, the winning horse, Reflex Action.
It's off.
With the owner, Paul Nicholas, and to the jockey, Darren Edwards. Congratulations, well done.
When was that? On the 9th?
Attention please, will Mrs. C. Holland come to the Secretary's tent please? Mrs. C. Holland to the Secretary's tent. Thank you. Mrs. C. Mulholland to the Secretary's tent, please. Mrs. C. Mulholland, thank you.
Good to see you.
Very good. Are we on? We're on, and Darren Edwards is here. Every time I'm presenting our live stream, you're amongst the winners.
Well, I try, Bob. I like to come and have a chat with you.
You flew the last on good old reflex action, didn't you?
Yeah, he bizarrely, the last race he ran in was only a 3-runner race, and we're not sort of choosing these small runner fields.
And he got turned over in that, didn't he?
Yeah, I got beat, but I on reflection that day, I rode him like he was a real stayer, made it a test, and the horse that was held up at the back came and pipped me at the end. Whereas I think in actual fact, what I learned from that was that he's not actually slow. So Today, although I was making the run-in, I just went a nice steady gallop, which I knew the second horse was keen, so he was going to be running keen behind me.
Keen is a bit of an understatement. Yeah.
Yeah. He almost needed you on there to help hold him as well.
But Paul was talking to us about say he likes this fast ground.
Yeah, I think so. He won an 18-runner maiden a couple of starts ago, on sort of decent, sort of good to firm ground. I think this is plenty fast enough. It's unfortunate for the hunt and the meeting that they've had so few runners, but just the way the weather's gone, the ground has got. It's firm out there.
It's extraordinary, isn't it, how it's gone? Because often this time of year you get a little bit of rain, but we've had this sort of icy, dry wind.
Yeah.
The whole week with no rain, it just dries it out straight away.
Yeah, no, we have, and like I say, it's just unfortunate that that's reflected in the number of runners that they've got. But I've been here before in March or April, and it's been snowing. So.
Yeah, but it has. I know that for sure, actually, because it's my birthday today, and I've had a white birthday before.
Yes.
So you never know. I've had heat wave. This time of year, you can have a heat wave. You can have today's sort of in between when the sun's out. It's quite nice.
Yeah, indeed.
But you've been riding. I mean, someone told me you've been riding for 20 years.
Far too. Some would say too long.
I can't believe that.
Rob. I know I don't look it, but
you don't look it.
No. So my first season was the foot and mouth season, which was 2001.
Yeah.
So that season was cut short. And then obviously we've had a couple of years of COVID, so I've had a bit of an interrupted point-to-point
but a load
career.
Of winners. I mean, over sort of 300-ish.
Yeah, no, I've had over 300 winners. Been very lucky. Ridden some nice horses along the way. I like to ride the young horses that you then see progress on under rules.
But you must have ridden quite a lot of those, haven't you? I mean,
I have. Yeah, I've been fortunate to ride some nice horses over the years, and thoroughly enjoy it. Yeah.
And chatting to your dad earlier about this new course at South Hill. So I mean, it's quite a big undertaking, but it sounds very exciting.
Yeah, it's great. You don't see that many new courses coming through now, perhaps unless you're in Newmarket. But full credit to the Devon and Somerset Staghounds who have with one of their landowners have found a site which they think is suitable.
So does that replace a nearby?
Yes, the course that they used to race on is still going to run under a different hunt. So this is a new course. It'll be a good spectacle. It's right up on the hill, so hopefully you'll have to come down for a holiday right up on Exmoor.
I will, rather than just talking incessant rubbish throughout the afternoon. So that's your day done then?
Yeah, I came here with 3 horses. Only one of them has run. But yeah, made it count. So.
And what would your week ahead be like? Would you be doing anything exciting this week?
No, funnily enough, obviously, for my business, it's a financial year end, 31st of March. So I've had a rather sort of frenetic last week trying to get deals across the line. So I won't see many horses this week, but and then back pointing next weekend, I think.
Absolutely, we'll keep on going. Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Here's to the next 20 years.
Not quite that.
Well, they're a bit longer.
Yeah,
You still
maybe a bit
you
longer.
retain those youthful look, and the way you ride as well as you've ever ridden, really.
Well,
do you feel
hopefully
that?
after 20 years, I can just about see a stride now. So,
I'm sure you saw one long before that. Thank you very much,
Thanks
Darren.
very much.
Anyway,
Cheers.
good to see you, Darren Edwards. What a star! What a star he is, winning there on Reflex Action. Fantastic. Runners for the last race. I think we've done that already. We have. Suddenly comes back and bites me on the heel. Bingo Dolavati riding with Jake Diamond on board, and Star Walker and Jimmy Cole. Jimmer. He's known as Jimmer. He sounds as if he should be Scottish, really, but he's not. Yeah. Anyway, he rides number 4, Star Walker. That's Bingo Dolavati, Gordon Chambers' horse in front. I think Bingo will probably win today. He's been a bit of a favourite of mine, old Bingo Dolavati. He used to run for be trained by James Hewitt. Flaming heck. Simon Knott's come back. How's it going? Step up to the mic for the final time today. As I take.
Well, they bet 4-1 on Bingo. 7-4 Star Walker.
See, we were the earlier good thing I was talking about, which is a name I can't remember now. What was it? That one.
Well, there's been several good things today, and they've all won.
No, the one that.
Oh, Molyneux.
Yeah,
Molyneux was a.
I mean, that was 5-2 on, 3-1 on. When I thought, well, I could back that. I know it's only a 2-horse race, this one as well, but Bingo at that sort of price, I would. You never, I don't think I'd do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't reinvest my hard-earned winnings, I don't think.
No, my £8 stayed in my pocket while I copped. But one of the bookmakers is just leaving, Richard Pittard. He's probably one of the best judges, and he said this will win.
I would say will win then.
This is what he said.
So that's why he's leaving.
Yeah, he says no point staying because it will win, and the business has dried up quite a bit. But they're still trying. They're up there taking the forecasts and things. So, but nobody can say it's been a frenetic
And there've been a few
day.
punters. Have they sort of having
Yeah, there's been a few punters, but after a while it gets.
Yeah.
It's just one of those meetings. But they're out hanging in there up there. They're all enjoying themselves. It's been a good day out. Nobody's.
Well, thank you very much for all your incredible input. And you're heading to Aintree for
I'm
this
off
week.
to Aintree this week. Yes, I should be there, writing my blog for Star Sports. Be up there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Look forward to that.
And there'll be some. I'm really looking forward to Aintree this year. I think it's fantastic. It's very good because you've got the sort of the reappearance of some of the Cheltenham horses. I think the gap has been quite a good gap between Cheltenham and Aintree this year. So
yeah,
you'll see quite a lot of
interesting to
those.
see how many Irish winners there are, but
I don't know whether we're going to see a Shishkin and Ergoman rematch, are we?
I wouldn't know.
No, that would be quite good.
Won't see how the mop flops.
That was a real damp squib. I mean, it was literally a damp squib at Cheltenham, wasn't it? When
Yeah.
everyone was sort of. But in that sort of ground, it would have been. It wouldn't have been a pretty sight, I don't think.
No, the direct opposite to today's, but yeah.
If you think that was just a few weeks ago in absolutely bottomless mud.
Yeah.
And now we're racing on, on firm ground.
Yeah, but I think from what everybody that's actually ridden has said, it's not, it's not been too bad today.
No, I
It's
mean
been
Darren Edwards
reasonable.
just talking to us now. It's just it's quick ground and it's perfectly safe ground. But a lot of the horses just like it a bit softer, I think, probably.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you very much, Bob.
Take a break. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
No, my pleasure too. Here's to you, Simon. They're still. The jockeys are in there now, so it won't be that long before they head down to the start. And Bingo, there is Bingo, as we like to know him. It's a hot favourite. 3-1 on, was he? 4-1 on. 4-1. So it's sort of bar a fall, really, isn't it? That he will win. He's been an old favourite of mine, as I say. I remember when he was trained up north by James Hewitt, and he won. I think he won a couple of races over hurdles, but he deserves a bit of success today for with Jake Diamond and his trainer Gordon Chambers. Anyway, the runners preparing to leave the parade ring for our final race here at Cherrybrook this afternoon. And we've got one more. You think you've seen the last of Simon, but here's something he recorded a little bit earlier.
Simon, how many races left? Oh, Richard Pittard, there's a race left, mate.
Yeah, not much of one, I'm afraid. You got a horse in it that's basically running a point-to-point charity race, and another horse that, well, definitely should win. So, and the business has been unfortunately so poor with so few runners. So, decided to call it a day.
Well, Richard's mum, what do you think about that?
She ain't got a bloody clue.
Oh, that's a shame. Anyway, thanks, Rich.
So the runners leaving the parade ring for our finale here, and not too many. I mean, I think most people who came here, one or two might have gone home with screaming children or whatever, a whining dog, but generally everyone is still here, and I think they've had a pretty good time. There have been a few stalls and a lot of cider and other cups of tea and all the things you get on an afternoon point-to-pointing. Ice creams. Mr. Whippy was here a bit earlier on, but the Mr. Whippy moment I think probably is past now with the sun behind the cloud. But the runners leaving the parade ring here at Cherrybrook for the final race of the day, and who knows what's going to happen with Bingo Dodavati. The old boy is the red hot odds-on favourite here, locally trained against Star Walker. Well, it's obviously they're all locally trained because it's for Spooners and West Dartmoor Hunt members race, so it's for local horses. And you know, I'm disappointed for those who wanted to have more runners, but I think generally it's been, I'm sure all those who've been here this afternoon have had a terrific time, really. You just want to see a bit of competition, and we've seen, apart from two races, we've had five races, no real humdinger of a close finish. But you know, the issue has been in doubt. You've got to jump those fences, and we had an odds-on favourite in the first race, which the mighty champion came off. So that was a bit of a gasp from the crowd in the first race of the day. So we've got, I can hear Mark Dennis say we've got about 3 minutes till post time as the runners disappear from sight down the race course here. I must return here when in a wet spring, when we can see some more runners and more competitive action, really. But I think it's been the old cliche, it is what it is, fast ground. It's been we had that heat wave, and then we had a little bit of sleet and snow and cold winds last week, but that cold wind and no rain has just put paid to the ground. However much water you put on, and they have watered quite substantially here yesterday, and it hasn't just goes straight through, but I'm sure it's done a bit of good, and we've had some good action. Anyway, last race for the day, hiding behind, I'm holding this up because there is the final cup of tea of the afternoon before the journey home. But I hope watching on pointingdc.co.uk, usually when I say that, it suddenly appears on the screen for you to take note for future fixtures, and there you are. See, it just happens like that. Amazingly well coordinated we are, but it's a fantastic way of watching. I mean, you can actually come to the races, you can subscribe, come here live, and then go home and watch the action like one does with with, under National Hunt rules. Watch many, always spend my life watching replays, and you can do that for I think 48 hours later, which will be plenty of time to relive the golden moments of your chosen point-to-point. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching this afternoon and subscribing to our streaming service. It looks as I was reading a script. I completely made that up actually, which is pretty good. But the final race approaches. The thing is, with point-to-points, you have quite a lengthy gap between races. 35, sometimes 40 minutes. So it was quite a lot of filling time. But I think, we've spoken to a few young and established stars. Darren Edwards just now, Colin Tizard, talking to him a bit earlier about his experiences of point-to-points, was absolutely fascinating. And Freddie Gingell, his grandson, who has definitely got a very bright future in the saddle. I'm absolutely positive he has. And it's interesting, and as Darren was saying, it's quite interesting with a lot of his 300 plus winners he's ridden. Part of the fascination is riding young, inexperienced horses and then see where they go on and how they perform under National Hunt rules, which after all this is for grounding, it's for some up and coming young horses that go on under rules, and there are quite a lot of horses that ran under rules but are now point-to-pointing most successfully, and Bingo Dalavati could be another one of those. A winner under rules for James Ewart, and possibly a winner here today for Gordon Chambers and Jake Diamond. But I've heard the flag is up, so for the final time this afternoon, let's go and rejoin Mark Dennis.
And quickly down, so they jump away then, these two, for the members race from the Spooners in West Dartmoor, and Bingo Dialavate, Jake Bayman to take an early lead, a big lead. Jump the first, those two, and Star Walker safely over in second, but around about a dozen lengths adrift of the leader in the very, very early stages. And as has been the case throughout the afternoon, not a great deal of pace on, as you'd imagine. So they make their way on to fence number 2 then. So Bingo Dualavate, partnered by Jake Bayman. Jake had a string of seconds up until last week, where his home-trained Funky Sensation scored down at Trebudanon in fine style in the end. So has got him off the mark for the season. They race on to fence number 3 of the 18 then. Jump that nicely. And as does Star Walker, who maintains a distance from the leader around about 12 lengths. And they now round the bend to come into the home straight and on towards fence number 4 before they come up the home straight. So Bingo de Alavate leads the way up past the judge then. 2 seconds ahead of them to race. Dozen lengths then back to Star Walker, Jim Cole. The open ditch is up next then for the leader. As he comes to it now and takes the ditch in fine style, as does Star Walker over safely. Star Walker partnered by local hero Jim Cole, who been riding, has started riding back in 1998 with a members race here at this very meeting. So around about 24 years ago. Had 18 career winners, and as mentioned, this season may well be his last. So he's had a great time of it, Jim. So they complete the descent and race up the far side now. 2 plain fences coming up quickly in this part of the course. And Bingo de Alavate still maintains about a 12-length advantage over Star Walker. Leaders on over the next then. Jumps that really well. Star Walker also over safely. So Jim Cole, probably his career highlight was Holly Walk, his lovely mare, who is the dam of Star Walker, Holly Walk, bred by the Queen, as a winner at the Aintree Hunters Chase, possibly about 10 years ago now. So they've made it around for a circuit then, these two, and Bingo de Alavati may have just increased the lead up to within about 15 lengths now over Star Walker as they turn back towards us once more. So they do so. So Jim, yeah, he's like I said, he's had 18 winners in his career. Zappa Bridge was a big winner for him down at Fleet Park there around about 5 years ago. A big price winner, Zappa Bridge. Took everybody by surprise. But they continue on down then towards another plain fence before they come into the home straight field. So Bingo de Alavate comes to it. Jumps it nicely, the leader, as does Star Walker. He's just reduced the deficit now, up to within around about 12 lengths once more of the lead. So round the turn then, race on fence will be the final fence in a circuit's time. Leader jumped it well, as does Star Walker. Just warming up to his task now, Star Walker. So they pass the judge and they have a circuit ahead of them to race. The open ditch is next. So for Bingo de Alavate, comes to it. Jumped it nicely, as does Star Walker. Just a little bit lower there though, to see Star Walker. So they head out into the country then for the final time this afternoon for this members race. So Bingo de Alavate, Star Walker now up to within about 8 lengths of the lead, as the leader just steadies to make the descent. Star Walker just picks him up now and is up to within about 2 lengths of the lead. The descent has been completed and they race up the far side. And as they take the first of these 2 plain fences, and Bingo de Alavate jumped that well and just goes on now, again by about 5 lengths to Star Walker. Star Walker just got a little bit tight to that and it was a little bit cumbersome at it, and has allowed a lead of around about 10 to 12 lengths now back to it, Bingo de Alavate, as they race across the far end then. And Bingo de Alavate, although Star Walker made ground, has also lost it now as they cross the next then. Leader safely out over it. Star Walker comes to it now and is over that safely. And now the leader is on the turn for home for the final time then, and still maintains about a 15 length advantage now over Star Walker. As they race down then, the leader races down to the third last. 3 out coming up then for Bingo de Alavate. And Jake Bayment jumped that nicely, safely. And race away from it well, and have increased the lead. Star Walker just gone a little bit tight to it, brushed to the top of it, but is not making any progress now into the lead of Bingo de Alavate. So it looks as though the only dangers are in front for Jake Bayment's mount, as he takes the second last, and he jumped that beautifully, the leader. Star Walker just coming to it now, and also jumps that pretty well. But the leader then races into the home straight then, and to the final point of danger. The final fence comes to it, pops it nicely, and is well clear of Star Walker. So Bingo de Alavate's going to open his season account this afternoon. Winner number 2 for Jake Bayment, and Star Walker will finish back in second for Jim Cole.
Never really in doubt. Bingo de Alavate wins, and wins pretty well from Star Walker. Good old Star Walker, who's only a 5-year-old. The first time he'd run over fences, the exhausted vocal cords. First time he'd run over fences, and he got a bit low at some of his fences, but I think there was there was scope for improvement, as they say. So Bingo Dolavati wins our final race of the day. He won a couple of hurdles for James Hewitt up in Scotland. Comes back to warm applause. Does Bingo and Star Walker as well, and they both finished. I think most of the runners today have finished, which is excellent news. Bingo Dolavati is the winner, owned by Jenny Luscombe and ridden by Jake Diamond. And Jimmer Cole has finished second. They call it a preliminary result, but I think probably that will be the result. And that's our final race. Let's, just before I say farewell and wend my home, let's have a recap of the results here at Cherrybrook today, under mainly blue and sunny skies. There we are. We've prepared them beautifully. It was a walkover to start with. Mad for Action was the winner. That was a winner for Will Biddick, but unfortunately in the next race he was on the odds-on favourite, Florrie Webb, who didn't get too far, and that left Marla Style to come home alone, ridden by Ella Ortois. Nice chat to her, won pretty nicely. Marla Style. Our next race was won by Footloose and Aaron Butterfield, owned and trained and ridden by him, and won pretty well from Dan's Wee Man, who I thought ran a terrific race, the old 13-year-old, ridden by 16-year-old Daisy White. I thought she gave him a very good ride indeed, and she was thrilled when we had a word with her afterwards. But Footloose was the winner of that race. The Open, Molyneux, who you could have backed at 2 to 5. I think that was a giveaway price, because he's been in fantastic form this season. He runs virtually every weekend. That was his 8th race and 4th win this campaign. He gave Freddie Gingell his first point-to-point winner at Buckfastleigh on the 16th of January, and another one here. I'm talking to Freddie afterwards. I'm sure he's got a very good career, and the winner, of course, trained by his grandfather Colin Tizard, set for a busy week at Aintree, no doubt. So that was the mixed open. Then we came to the conditions race number 5. That was one, well, it was a walkover for River Myth and Darren Andrews for restricted. Had a bit of action there, because Reflex Action and Darren Edwards, riding his 300 plus winners, beat the very free running EA-old Dern Regard, who was second. Well done for Barnaby Trinier, staying on board. Not an easy ride, but Reflex Action won and quite likes this ground, so Darren was telling us. And the final race on the day has just been won by Bingo Dolavati. There we are, gets a whole, the widest margin winner of the day, I think. Bingo Dolavati and Jake Bayment winning. Jake Bayment winning that race by 20 lengths from Jimmer Cole on Star Walker in a time of 6 minutes 54, but I don't think the timings had much to do with that. And that brings our afternoon's action to its close, really, and cars beginning to leave slowly, as mine will be very shortly. So thank you very much for staying with us, if you have stayed with us throughout the afternoon, and there'll be plenty more opportunities, I hope, fingers crossed, for you to watch the live streaming action on pointingdc.co.uk, where you can follow the action from the comfort of your home, or actually go to the races and then watch it afterwards, which can be a lot of fun as well. But thank you very much for joining us this afternoon, and from all of the team here who've done sterling work throughout, on their behalf, I'll say goodbye as well. Have a very good week. Goodbye. See you again soon.
action-packed.
Countrywide.